I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Friday, February 21st, 2025. Folks, welcome back to the program. It's Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Chris Wyatt reports, the Indaba Africa Network, the Wyatt Independent News Network. Win, win, win. All I do is win, win, win. Well, let's hope that's the case. Certainly been the case in February 2025. Been a great, stellar month here on the channel. Best month in the history of the program. And thanks to all of those who've discovered the program, who are here with us now and learning about it. Sometimes I have to, realize that this stuff gets further than one ever realizes. You think you're talking to a select group of people, but next thing you know, somebody big finds your content. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, well, welcome back to the program. Once again, a reminder for this portion of the program, the first 30 minutes or so, the chat is turned off because it's become too distracting for viewers to catch the news. Many people tune in just to hear the news and my analysis of major news events from South Africa, around the continent of Africa, the greater world, and then the U.S. So we're going to get to that now. I'll get through the news. Then we'll have a short intermission in which I'll play some music. And while I use the lube, probably, too much information. No, but seriously, I will take a short break, and then I will answer. Just subscribe. Thank you for that answer. And then I will open up the chat for everybody when I finish the news. All right. So apparently that major kingpin from the Khayelitsha, from the Cape Flats, was in fact among those who were killed in a shootout with police. Young Bara Nanyalara was tracked down and killed by police in Eastern Cape, so he is no longer a threat to the residents of Khayelitsha. This was confirmed by the Eastern Cape spokesman, Lieutenant Colonel Sifo Kazi Amwazida. Said officers from the National Intervention Unit received information about two vehicles containing suspected illegal firearms, and they got them in a shootout. Suspect attempted to escape after being shot. Well, that's good news for people being terrorized by gangsters in the Cape Flats. Meanwhile, a man who claimed that black Africans will come to your house, rape your wife, and kill you is expected in court. Well, that's quick. This isn't the case of Noya Beloy, is it? No. Oh, no, that's right. He said white people are dogs and that you must beat them and that they are genetically inferior because they have Neanderthal DNA and white women can't bear children. Yeah, that's what he said. But that apparently doesn't get you into the equality court when you demean the character and the honor of people. But this does, and rightly so. I mean, if you're going to have suppression of speech and people can't have free speech, this definitely qualifies for what violates the law in South Africa. But I hadn't even heard about this case. Robin Lee Franke from the Independent Line tells us a 50-year-old man whose shocking video has been shared across social media where he's ranting about the situation is either expected to appear in court today. In a 3-minute, 30-second video, he introduced himself, immediately calls on white people in the world to wake up. He uses swear words and racial slurs, including, he says, these black African blanks is what you are, nothing less than that. Boom, 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 boom. Continues swearing, stating people are mad to think everything is okay. They burn you, yada, yada, yada. Blank Julius Malema, blank Ramaphosa, all they can do is break down. Now, the video apparently has caused an outcry for the man to be brought to justice. Justice, really. Justice for speech. Wow. Did he harm somebody? Look, this is disrespectful, rude, and inappropriate. And what you do with people like this is you ignore them. You ostracize them. They're kept out of community events. You just ignore them. But when you criminalize speech, you show the weakness of a government. And I don't want to hear about historical injustices and inadequacies. That's ridiculous. When you silence speech by the government, that's an oppressive effort. And it's morally wrong. This is outrageously wrong, and this person should be castigated for their behavior. But anyway, the suspect was arrested at a location in Eastern Cape and will appear in a Cape Town Magistrates Court. Why is he going to Cape Town for court if he's in the Eastern Cape? Does he live in Cape Town? I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Police also issued a stern warning telling you to keep your mouth shut. You don't have free speech in South Africa. Well, that's not what they said, but police issued a stern warning to social media users to engage in platforms responsibly. As failure to do so will have dire consequences. Unless, of course, you are a so-called music producer in South Africa, then there are no consequences. What are the consequences for Nobs Mkhize and her insults on colored women? Apparently nothing. Apparently no consequence to that whatsoever. But this gentleman is in court right away. Once again, the dual standard of South African justice system. If you are insufficiently pigmented and you say something offensive, you're in jail or you're in court or you're sentenced to jail as a felon for speech. Very few, if no black Africans ever get this in South Africa. So, double standards. And people wonder why South Africans claim that they're being persecuted. Well, gee, I guess that might be part of it right there. Well, speaking of persecution and crime, Senzo Mchunu, the police minister, the successor to the cat in the hat back at Chile, Senzo Mchunu has come out with crime statistics. And it's a good news story, folks. This is a good news story for South Africa. Apparently, crime is down. That's exciting. Glad to see crime is down. Very good news. However, ladies and gentlemen, Senzo Mchunu is just another... It pains me to say this because to this point, it appears he's been doing a relatively decent job as police minister, reinvigorating discipline, also improving morale, trying to get funds for the fort. It appears he's been doing well from the outside. I'm not inside SAP, so I can't attest to that. But now typical ANC apparatchik, cater, can't help but open his big yap and stick his oversized foot in it. Yeah, instead of just talking about the good news, he chooses to distort the whole conversation, talking about something that's not even in the conversation, attacking Donald Trump. What the hell does Donald Trump have to do with crime statistics in South Africa? Well, he assaults or attacks Donald Trump verbally, whining about farm murders, and then dismissing the lives of the dozen people killed in rural South Africa. It's very callous and inconsistent with human dignity, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And he brings Donald Trump into it. Donald Trump didn't mention farm murders. That's 2018. Donald Trump, I showed the tweet, what Donald Trump put out on February 3rd. Then I showed his executive order on February 7th. Neither one of those talks about farmers being murdered. Neither one of them. Neither one of them. So, Senzo Mchunu, you're stuck in a time warp and you're trying to push a narrative because the low information, illiterate, functionally dysfunctional South African media and social media will believe you're garbage. This is a shame. Go back to doing a good job as police minister and stop engaging in international relations because you clearly don't know what you're doing. So Senzo Mchunu says that murders dropped by 9.8% and rape by 3.3%, while attempted sexual offenses also dropped by 3.2%. There were 12 farm murders recorded out of a total of 6,953 murders in that period, with one being a farmer. 5 were farm dwellers, 4 were farm employees, 1 was a security guard, and 1 was not specified. He says crime statistics are based on scientific evidence. It's unclear where Trump got his information. Again, what the hell does Donald Trump have to do with you reporting on crime statistics in South Africa? Nothing. Donald Trump did not make a statement about crime statistics in South Africa. He didn't talk about farm murders either. Why are you doing this? He says, farmers. I suppose he's referring to this one. Wow. Wow. This is a government that represents the South Africans? No. These are elite turd balls who represent themselves. Wow. Shame, 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 Mchunu. Look like you're off to a good start, but just another party apparatchik, another Soviet-esque clown. Well, folks, Times Live, which loves to print all kinds of nonsense, actually asked an interesting poll. Should we save indigenous languages? Well, there's no such thing as indigenous language. They're just languages. They're languages. How important is it to preserve and promote our indigenous languages? And the reason I say there's no indigenous language is because every language is indigenous to some place. So all languages are indigenous. Do you see the leftist hate-wanking fallacy of indigenous language, which means people of color, people persecuted, people in the Amazon, people in Central Africa? That's Aborigines. It's all horse manure. Every one of our languages is indigenous, except Esperanto. Esperanto is the only non-indigenous language, or computer languages, COBOL, C++, those or C++. Those aren't indigenous. Those are artificial languages. But all spoken languages are indigenous somewhere. In a world where more than 8,000 languages, preserving and promoting indigenous languages become a key issue for global sustainability and cultural heritage. According to UNESCO, there are 8,324 languages spoken or signed across the globe, and 7,000 are in active use. Many face the threat of extinction, and I have reported on this channel repeatedly. One of those is, of course, Nu, a Khoi language spoken by just one person left on the planet as a first language, and that's Oma Katarina Esau, who lives in Uppington, who's almost 90 years of age, and she's the last person alive, to my knowledge, who speaks Nu as a first language. Her granddaughter is trying to spread the language, but she had to learn it as an adult, not as a child. So we'll see what happens there. But many languages are threatened because either they're not functional, or because a group is oppressed, or for many reasons. Welsh nearly went extinct because of the introduction of English and the imposition of English, particularly in education. However, the Welsh had enough of that and made a comeback, and Welsh is doing very well these days. But Manx is extinct from the Isle of Man. Cornish is extinct from Cornwall. Don't exist anymore. Languages died out. Other languages have died out. So languages died for a variety of reasons. And frankly, from my opinion, it's a sad situation. Language is an essential part of humanity, the way we communicate. Languages are constructed in different fashions by different cultural groups in different places at different times around the planet, and then influence each other. But for instance, when you want to insult someone in German, you don't use the F word or something like that like you do in English, but you call them an animal. One of the worst insults you could ever say to a politician is "du alter Esel." Ooh, you old donkey. That just sounds rather benign in English, but in German, ooh, that's a searing insult. So now it's also many colorful things that bring to life euphemisms. Look at the things the South African coloreds say in Afrikaans. The things they come up with are just absolutely amazing plays on words. And the death of a language is a sad situation indeed. So let's see what the poll said, what people felt about this. So, International Mother Language Day, proclaimed by UNESCO and adopted by the UN in 2002, is dedicated to promoting linguistic and cultural diversity. Celebrated every year on February 21st. It emphasized the importance of multilingual education, which I agree with. Thank you for voting. It's 74.39% say it's extremely important, and 25% of people said, I don't see the need. I don't see the need to protect indigenous languages. Well, that's unfortunate. Everyone should be able to see the need. Well, we can't afford things, ladies and gentlemen. Can't afford things. And an increase in VAT is going to crush the millions of South Africans living on public assistance. Single mothers worry about the cost of living as VAT hike proposal adds more pain. Budget 2025. Single unemployed mothers and pensioners living in Johannesburg have raised concerns about the rising cost of living, questioning how Finance Minister Enoch Gondwana would dare increase value-added tax by a staggering 2% when everything was already so expensive. Well, I find that very shocking, and I agree with these women, but I also find it shocking and worrisome. I'm also very concerned about, I'm very worried about why there are so many single mothers. Why are there single mothers? Unless your spouse or partner has died in an accident or from an illness, why are you a single mother? What's going on there? What's with the breakdown in relationships? There shouldn't be single mothers. You should have a partner cohabitating. And I'm not even arguing for heterosexuality. Just a partner, two-person responsibility. Shouldn't be single mothers. Johannesburg's mayor says water restoration is in place. Well, how you like that? Joburg Mayor Dada Morero declared that the entire city now has water after weeks of shortages, and that he has fulfilled his promise to sort out the outages within 7 days. How is that possible? It's been weeks. How did he do it in 7 days? He visited Randwater's Eichenhof pump station in South Johannesburg a week ago after being accused by concerned residents and opposition parties of missing in action during the 2 weeks long water crisis. Yeah, so he shows up 2 weeks late after he was ignored it, and then he says, I'll fix it in a week. Well, that's 3 weeks in, buddy. You don't get credit. Move on. 2 South Africans have been arrested for drug smuggling. Ooh, not a good move, guys. They're coming in from Brazil, caught with 7.5 million rand worth of cocaine. Oh, man. Ride the white horse. Look at that. 2 South African nationals being arrested at OR Tambo after landing from Brazil with drugs worth 7.5 million rand. Looks like a colored lady and a white dude. Oh, big mistake, folks. Big mistake. The pair, a male and a female, arrived separately on different flights from Brazil. When they were intercepted by police upon inspection, the female suspect was allegedly found in possession of cocaine worth 2.5 million. The male, he doubled down. He had 5 million in his luggage. Not smart. They'll be charged with drug trafficking and appear in court soon. Well, there you go. Drug smugglers bringing drugs into South Africa. Why? How about some good news, folks, here? Let's turn our attention to something good and positive. That'd be nice, right? United States wine importer, Culture Wine Club, formed in California to bring in South African wines for people to try them out. Interesting story here in News 24, I should say, not propaganda. Yes, there you go. Peter Andrews started the Culture Wine Club in 2023 in California. It was his first shipment of 9 South African producers. It was a life-changing experience in South Africa. That's why he had the experience. With a 15-year background in U.S. wine trade and a diploma and an MBA, a trip to the Cape Winelands in 2023 after leaving a particularly demanding role in California, he said it wasn't just how that wine inspired him, but the culture. Now, 2 years in, amid ongoing posturing from the new U.S. administration, the very real threat to South Africa being excluded from the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, we find out why this fledgling U.S. wine importer insists on the potential of South African wines in the U.S. and the upcoming Hella Chenin Festival planned for May to highlight the quality of South African Chenin among international competitors. Well, there you go. He said, I wanted to catch a spark. Well, that's what Bob Dylan said when asked why he hitchhiked from Minnesota to visit his music idol Woody Guthrie in New Jersey. You could say Peter Andrews of Culture Wine Club caught a spark when he traveled to South Africa the first time in 2023, having just left a demanding executive role at a fine wine importer and retailer in California. He went back to the U.S., wrote a business plan, and returned to South Africa a few months later, where he spent 11 days driving 1,500 kilometers across Western Cape, meeting 50 winemakers and tasting hundreds of wines. Well, that's a good life, man. Sign me up for that. How do I get to sign up for all that wine tasting? Interesting. The fate of the Bibas family, horrific situation. Family recalls the trauma of October 7th and renewing fears. The Hamas terrorists have been disingenuous and dishonest. They said they returned the bodies of Shiri Bibas and her 2 sons. The Israeli military announced that the boys were murdered in Gaza and that Miss Bibas' body was that of someone else. So they sent the body of someone else back, not Miss Bibas, trying to claim it was her. I guess they assumed that the Israelis don't use DNA. What a bunch of dummies. And the boys were murdered while in Gaza. For 16 months, the smiling faces of Shiri Bibas and her 2 young sons, Ariel and Kifir, had been slowly receding to the background, posted on walls and bus stops after they were abducted. On Friday, the Bibas' lives and disturbing deaths were swept back to the forefront as Israeli collective consciousness in such a startling and unsettling way that set off fresh alarm about the fate of fragile ceasefire. On early Friday morning, the military announced that the body of Miss Bibas, nominally returned, along with those of her sons by Hamas on Thursday, appeared to be that of someone else. In an autopsy, the 2 boys, aged 4 and 8 months at the time of their abduction, revealed that they were killed by terrorists in Gaza. So they kidnapped, abducted these children, and then murdered them in Gaza. There is no place that is evil enough for people like that to murder an 8-month infant. Sick, twisted people, completely defenseless human being. New Zealand's defense minister says Chinese warships near Australia are a problem. You think? Says, we are not safe. Distance won't protect us. The minister said Chinese Communist Party officials also provide no information about the motivations of the warships. New Zealand's Defense Minister Judith Collins says a flotilla of Chinese Communist Party warships sailing down the coast of Australia is a wake-up call to our countrymen of the precarious nature of the Indo-Pacific. As reported in the Epic Times, the 3 vessels were spotted close to 150 nautical miles from the Australian shore in the Tasman Sea, which separates Australia and New Zealand. Speaking to Radio New Zealand, Collins acknowledged that Beijing was within its rights and claimed that she'd been aware of the fleet's trajectory for a few days. The information I can provide is that they're still not that far off Sydney, about 130 to 150 kilometers. At the moment, they're just complying with international law. They're entitled to do this under UN Convention of the Sea, but they're certainly significant vessels and the most significant and sophisticated we've seen this far south. Yeah, this is a clear message in trying to intimidate Australia and New Zealand. Where's the press? Where's the media? Where are the communists? Where's everybody? Where are all the leftists complaining about China throwing its weight around in the South China Seas and the Straits of Malacca, off the coast of Africa? Naval exercise with South Africa and Russia, and here now invading the seas of Australia and New Zealand. Now, they are in international waters, but if you're going to transit these military ships in a place you've never been like that before, it would be proper diplomatic courtesy to send a dip note to that nation saying, hey, listen, we are going towards Antarctica. We've never done this before. It's a training exercise. This is what we're going to be doing. But now, they send 3 menacing warships off the coast of Sydney with no explanation. And the Australians are upset about it. They are saying that commercial flights are being diverted after the warships began surprise live fire exercise. They are firing live ammunition off the coast of Australia, just like they did to intimidate Taiwan. Air Services Australia has issued warnings to pilots flying over the Tasman Sea after the Chinese started a military exercise, unannounced. 3 People's Liberation Army Navy vessels have traversed the Australian coastline for the past week with no indication of their motives and came within 150 nautical miles of Sydney. Several flights have been rerouted, including Qantas and Emirates, following advice that Chinese Communist Party warships have been firing live ammunition in international waters. Wow. Unbelievable. Shocking. Australia's Defense Department was not officially notified. The Australian Defense Department said it was not notified of the fleet's intent to conduct the activity. The only notice came via verbal radio broadcast to civilian aircraft. Folks, this is the rogue behavior of the Chinese communists. They simply rock up in international waters and start firing live ammunition. They did it towards the shores of Taiwan from international waters. They're a menace to global security. And it's about time that the world woke up to the Chinese threat that's been there for a long time. It's not an economic threat. It's a geopolitical military threat. They're a dangerous, dangerous country. Well, Germany's economy is in the tank. I've been telling you that for ages, as is China's. But hey, people don't want to listen. New York Times reports Germany's economy is once the envy of Europe, but not anymore. While the United States and most of the European Union have shrugged off the pandemic recession and restarted their economic engines, Germany remains idle. Its economy shrank in 2024. Wow. And other measures look even worse. They show an economy rapidly sliding backward, stunning declines that have emerged as one of the biggest issues in the parliamentary election set for this weekend. On Sunday, Germany has an election, and it's going to be a shocker. We'll see what happens. But Germany's growth has stagnated. We'll look at some charts here. Here you see, it looks like a EKG chart there, but The German economy, briefly, for about 15 years ago, was growing faster than the EU, but now they're lower than the EU by a significant margin. They're stuck in stagnation. Yep, look at this. Exports more to China, but it has a high-cost economy. Much of that kind of activity is wrapped up in factories, cars, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals, and they're stuck. Here you see their capacity, but a lot of it's idle. And energy costs, outrageously high for Germany, outrageously high. More expensive than the European Union, spiking because they got rid of the nuclear power plants. Their labor costs are among the highest in the world at over 40 euros per hour, much higher than the European Union average of 32 euros per hour. Population's lazy too, working less than the rest of Europe. Germans only work an average of about 35 hours. And there are more retirees per worker, which is a burden on the economy. Nearly 35% of Germany's population, or retirement population, to workers. Yeah, so Germany is sliding backwards, and they just don't notice it. European Union looks to turn to the United States as they threaten us with tariffs. They're turning to us because they can't get any energy. The worm turns again. European Union looks to U.S. gas and renewables to plug the hole left by Russian energy. Trump had cautioned Europeans about before taking office that they would face tariffs unless they bought more oil and gas. So Brussels also plans to combine this effort with an expansion of renewable energy at a faster rate to lower its overall reliance on liquefied natural gas. The EU has pledged to wean itself off Russian gas by 2027 as part of a response to Moscow's invasion in 2022. Instead of using taxpayers' money, citizens' money to pay for gas where the revenue goes into Putin's war chest, we need to make sure that we produce our own energy, says EU Commissioner Dan Jorgensen. Well, we'll see how that goes, Dan. We'll see how that goes. Pierre Trudeau has a joyous moment as Canadians insult America. And, I've been very generous in saying that Canadians are not the problem. It's their government. Well, maybe the Canadians are the problem. Listen to this. As Canadians disgracefully boo the United States. So we'll have to return the favor whenever Canada comes here, particularly during the Olympics. Trudeau needles Trump as Canadians revel in a hockey win. Canada beat the U.S. in a championship game, a minor championship game. Some silly tournament was made up. It's not even proper World Hockey Championships. As political tensions between President Trump, he taunts and economic threats. This is what they did to the Americans at this event. To the ill-mannered, gauche, scumbag Canadian fucktwits from this game, fuck you, and fuck the mother you rode in on. We don't give a shit about your behavior. You've been freeloaders for years, and you've been abusing our trade relationship. And you have an oppressive, fascist, totalitarian dictator, and you've left him in power. You get what you deserve. Shocking behavior from Canada. Shocking behavior from Canada. We put a skirt over you and protect you, and have done it for decades, and this is how you reward us. No. This will not be forgotten, Canada. Will not be forgotten. Well, speaking of not forgotten, the New York Slimes runs an article about Donald Trump commemorating Black History Month, and when he commemorates Black History Month, they can't help but attack Donald Trump with false allegations. Trump marks Black History Month even as he disparages the value of diversity. No, Donald Trump doesn't disparage the value of diversity. Donald Trump disparages racial supremacy. That's what he disparages. And that's what so-called diversity is. DEI is not equality. DEI is not diversity. DEI is racial supremacy. It's the putting down of one group of people to elevate another people. And that's racism. Donald Trump doesn't like racist or racism. The New York Times is running a racist article, and that's what this is. President Trump arrived at a packed White House celebration alongside Tiger Woods to a roaring crowd. The event came as he eviscerated federal programs aimed at combating inequality in America. Look who the authors are, Erica Green and Zolan Kanye-Youngs. The Black History Month reception held at the White House on Thursday had all the pomp and celebrations past. Guests sipped champagne and snacked on lamb chops and collard greens. The crowd delighted in their invitations, snapping selfies. And when President Trump walked out alongside one of the greatest black athletes in the world, Tiger Woods is not black. He's multiracial. Tiger Woods, the crowd roared with their phones in the air. But the dissonance in the room was jarring. Mr. Trump may have praised the country's Black Americans on Thursday, but he spent the weeks since his inauguration eviscerating federal programs aimed at combating inequality in America. He suggested efforts spurred by the civil rights movement have made victims out of white people. He blamed a deadly plane crash of the Potomac on diversity programs in the Federal Aviation Administration. Well, aside from the last one, that all is patently clear. The racist affirmative action crippled this country over the past 5 decades has led to a severe Severe problem in equality in this country. There's no such thing as equality when you promote one racial group over another. Well, the judge has ordered Donald Trump to once again unfreeze foreign aid, just short of calling him in contempt. The judge said administration officials must lift a temporary 90-day freeze on foreign aid in line with the February court order. Of course, the judge has no such authority to do this. This is a rogue court. A federal judge ordered federal government officials on February 20th to comply with his earlier order to lift the freeze on nearly all foreign aid, though he stopped short of holding them in contempt. U.S. District Judge Amir Ali, very Anglo-Saxon name there, said administration officials, including those from the State Department, USAID, Office of Budget Management, had instead come up with new post hoc rationalization for the en masse suspension. The court's temporary restraining order does not permit defendants to simply continue their blanket suspension of congressionally appropriated foreign aid, pending review of the agreements for which they should be continued or terminated. Well, we'll see. This is going to wind up in the Supreme Court before it's all over. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the news for today. I want to cover 540 people currently here. I'm going to open up the chat now, and you're welcome to chat. Let me go ahead and take care of that very quickly. And where are we at here? So this is the one I want. Customization, live chat, and let's see who's first. You ready? Here we go. Boom. All right, the chat is now open. You can chat. So anybody wants to chat, feel free. All right? Okay. Oh, there's Hendo and Alma Netia, Fundameva, Rainbow Dragon, Peter Liebenberg. All right, so people are on it. All right, folks, I'm going to stretch my legs for a second and take care of some business. Don't run off. Let's see how many people are still here after this is over. 534 people currently here, and I'll be right back. But in the meantime, we have a little interlude for you, a little something for you. All right? How about a little Dean Chancey? Music going to be provided by Dean Chancey, the singing Texan. Dean spent a lot of time in South Africa and sings about South Africa. Welcome back, folks, from the intermission. 30 minutes in, we went from 540 people during the news, 548 down to 486. We lost 48, 58. Over 60 people left because they didn't want to hear us chat. So, well, we see who wants to catch news and who doesn't. All right, folks, let's see who is in the chat. Angie Brand, Arno Flock, Neville Purd, Matthew Dixon, Oki Horse Crazy. I don't recall seeing Horse Crazy before. Welcome. Anne-Marie Nell, Len Crow, Sue77, Feng Wan Wannabe. I have to check on something very quickly here because I was supposed to be on Willem Petzer today, but he had no internet. The power was out in Pretoria. So our program didn't happen this morning. So he hasn't got back with me. I don't know what's going on. All right. So Loretta Fonseca, welcome to you. Cool. Mr. Punisher's back. Frank Bruns, Napoleon Dynamite, Stephen William, Jan Jordan. Okay. I did a reaction video to Steve Hofmeyer's brand new song, folks. Wow, it's pretty cool. Ons Blut is Oranje. Yeah, so, yeah, it's Our Blood is Orange. Interesting song. So it's my reaction to it. Exploma, Richard Lemmert, Ronell. Who else we got here? Yolanda, Nick Muller, Ellie. Love the Iranian song and Steve's support of Trump. Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. Rebecca van der Vaats, Hendo, John Huchin in from Arizona. I haven't seen John in a while. Veritas, welcome to you. Dwayne Fourie, 1 of 440. Hello. The snow Mexicans got their asses handed to them. Good God, that's just rude. Shabbat Shalom, 360 at 45. Welcome to you. Pablo Charlie. Good to see some subscribers coming in now because it's been a very slow day. We are now halfway through today, and we've gotten just 200, not even 200 new subscribers. Wow, that's a very slow pace. That'll be the slowest we've had since this thing kicked off at the beginning of February. So hopefully that'll pick up here. All right. By the way, if you can't see the Steve Hofmeyer reaction video, my apologies, but it's blocked in some countries. I don't know which countries it's blocked in, and I can't monetize it. Not that I want to monetize it. I just want to keep people to watch it. So anyway, Nico Nell, but I didn't get a copyright claim or strike, so that's good news. Line in the Sand, welcome to you. Johan Pratt, Robert Rankin, Pablo Charlie, Ernst Cuthbert, Rudy Moore, Pan, Rebecca, I already said that. I see Nota is being investigated. Yeah, exactly. There are 2 criminal cases that I'm aware of, I can confirm, filed against Nota Boloi for his racist rant on that podcast, in which the interviewer was like taken aback. If you look at it from the side, the guy was like, I don't think you could actually believe the guy was saying that on air. That video is still on YouTube, by the way. So anyway, that's fine. YouTube should leave it on there. It's free speech. Should leave it on. It should be free speech. There's a super chat. Thank you for that. Wow. Nicklin. Oh, wow. A super chat. You got it started. Thank you so much for that. Southern crime stats completely meaningless as it's manipulated to support the narrative. Well, I don't disagree, Franz. And I said that in my video, essentially, that I did on this. History has made 54th National Association Bilingual Education Conference in Atlanta marks a significant step in recognizing Afrikaans as a valued world language in the U.S. education system. That's interesting, Jan. I'm not sure why we did that, but that's interesting. Okay. And Alta loves the song. Is it Alta or Alt? Man, you make glasses on here, man. I can't read it. It's so tiny, those letters. It's Alt, my bad. Alt. Jaretha says, hello, very humid, and Margate. Oh, okay, Margate. Anita Gross, welcome to you. Garrett Gillich, hey, how's it going there? Alta Canaba in Somerset West. Yolanda. Diane Humpel's back. Janet Joel, welcome to you. All right, and then we got started. Hendo, Jan van Driel, Nicolene Lewis, Sheehan. Did you see Ramaphosa's proud tweet about having discussions with Zelensky? No, I didn't. But you know why he's having discussions with Zelensky? Because he wants a curry favor with Trump. Or does he? Natasha Faree. Reg Dodd, good afternoon to you. And Larda Fonsale. Okay. EJC Boer. Colonel, maybe put those 14 question videos always in the screen above. Yeah, everybody keeps saying it. Oh, you mean above me? Okay, well, that's an idea. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I'll just pin it. I got so many text files open right now. Let me just go ahead and pin the 14 questions, okay? Copy. There you go. But, you know, that video is now over a week old, and it's not the only one. I had to put one out last night about people in scams because it keeps happening. By the way, I stumbled into an attorney here in the States. Used to teach school, and now he's an attorney who's been teaching himself Afrikaans, and he kept referencing my videos. Thank you for that. Is it Evan? I think it was. I posted a link to his video in my Twitter account and spread it around, also in the groups, the WhatsApp and the Telegram groups, about this guy's video, in which he tells you what I've said. If you're a refugee, he made 2 points that are incredibly important, which I've been making, and he's an attorney, so he did it in fashion that's probably a bit more articulate than I have. Number one, you don't have to prove you're a refugee once the class of people is indicated. Trump has given an indication who they are, and so you're not going to have to prove you've been persecuted because you will be identified as a group like the Rohingya are persecuted or the Uyghurs are persecuted. And so we've taken refugees in from Uyghurs. I don't know if we've taken any Rohingyas. I think we have. But anyway, so that group has been identified. So the same thing is happening here. So you're not going to have to prove that most likely. And the second thing is that you don't need an attorney. You don't need an attorney. That's a waste of money. You don't need someone to put paperwork together for you. People ask for money. Don't do it. Stop it. And also, frankly, what I said, he also echoed it. Take a deep breath. We don't know what's going on. The program is frozen. Hang on. Hang in there. We'll wait and see. Hans Bai. Thank you, Shirley Pretorius. Nice to see you there. Maddie says 2 points. Government promotes single motherhood with social grants. Yes, we've done it in America for 60 years. And look, we've got 78% of black children born out of wedlock, 45% Hispanic, and 25% of whites, and 9% of Asians. That wasn't the case 40, 50 years ago. In a lot of cases, those kids get dumped on grandparents. No, look, Maddie, I've lived over Africa. In many places, parents don't raise their own children. They're always the grandparents that do it, or an aunt, or something like that. Seen all over. Germany's exports aren't the problem, their imports are. No, their exports are the problem. Germany's exports are a major problem because they're declining, because this industrial base is shrinking, because of the cost of energy and labor. It's just Germany's too expensive to do business in. Pierre Orban, Vilma Erasmus, who else? Ronell is there. Hey, well, Ronell. Those crime stats are being fudged, says Charmaine. Allison Johnson, welcome to you. Go AFD, says Garrett. Indeed. Okay. Well, I really got to catch up. You guys are quick in the chat here. I missed a couple super chats. I got to get to those real quick here. Okay. Super stickers anyway. They didn't pop up here. Is my alert turned on? Yeah, alert box is turned on. It should have come up. Okay. You're welcome, Natasha. Okay. And then AFD goes Sunday. Shaken, not stirred. Stephen TNT. Zenobia Golden finally made it alive again. Well, welcome back. Chantal Boyce and JJ Pretorius. Crime is defeated on Pretoria so much that our power is off due to some gentleman borrowing the power cables. There you go. Jake's America's 10 largest cities are turning into ghost towns due to homeless crisis. 140,000 views. Okay. I'll believe that. Not. Yo Masa Productions, welcome back to you. Very nice song. Yeah, that's Dean Chancey. Nice guy. I've stayed at his home down in Texas. It was nice of him. So Colette Ruiz, 40 Rand. Thank you for that super chat, that #1 sticker. Appreciate that a lot. Brenda Opperman, Tal Fender Warhawks, Heidi Kruger, Weatherman ZA. Weatherman ZA. That wouldn't be the weather guru, would it? Huh. Richard Kuhn, China. Royston Falker, you know the value of your own existence measured by the time it takes politicians to determine it. That's a fair point. Alan Coates is back. Isabel Kutsia, Crooked, Serena, Pierre Rousseau, Pablo Charlie. Michael Neustadt, afternoon, a white guy was arrested today for racial slurs on YouTube. So the news said this afternoon, but nothing about it. Really. Yeah, no, I read that story earlier. You must have missed it, Michael. I read that top of the news. It's like the third story I read. I like that song, Bless RSA. Yep. Chloe Hayestek, welcome to you. Okay. Second point. The IDF spokesman said the Beavis babies were murdered in mid-November by hand and not by IDF. Yeah, okay, Maddie, but I mean, I said they were murdered in Gaza, so, I mean, I didn't imagine the IDF did it. Gareth McCarthy, Gordon Forbes, Tim Martens, Hoya Orange Dog Amal. Welcome, fellow Orange Neanderthals. Oh, these people keep calling me this political call every day around this time. I'm not giving them money. By the way, I got a phone call unsolicited a short while ago. There's another super chat. Thank you for that. Fiona Fondor. I'll read the rest in a minute. 50 rands. Thank you for that. It's very kind of you. I got an unsolicited phone call just before the program from Delaware. I'm like, what's this? Answered it. Hello? Yes. William there. How may I help you? Yes. Are you interested in selling your house? Yeah. Thank you for your membership. Appreciate that. Are you interested in selling your house? No, I'm not. I told her, I said, I'm quite content being a debt slave to the bank. That's what I said. Actually, I'm not content being a debt slave to the bank, but no, I have no intention of selling my house. And pretty cheeky. I mean, they're polite and everything, but she's like, well, it's a lot of house. I said, it's not a lot of house. I've lived in Africa. This is a tiny house. Nick says, I'm not late. I was watching the lounge thinking it would be muted chat. Well, chat was muted for 30 minutes and then it's turned back on. The Aranya song, Genius said, yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song. And you guys should watch it. Check out my reaction. See what you think of my reaction. I like to get your thoughts on my reaction. Remember that Afrikaans is not my first, my second, my third language. It's somewhere down fourth or fifth. So keep that in mind. Selvin Fundameva. I am coming by ship. Too many plane accents lately. Okay. Cynthia Lowe, welcome. Nico, question: if my wife and I have been granted refugee status, but our daughter's application is declined for some reason, can we withdraw? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you don't have to go. You don't have to go. There's no obligation to go. You can rescind it. Yep. I don't imagine your daughter's would be declined if yours is. I understand your question because she's an adult. She has to apply on her own. Vincent Taylor, welcome. Kioma Fenter, Rihanna Brink. Watching all your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nicolene Venzel, late, but here and listening. No, you're never late. You can always come after the fact. As long as people watch it, I don't care if it's now or later. That's always good. And there's another member. Thank you for that, Fiona Fundevelt. Thank you for becoming a member. Good morning, maintenance guy. Raina Fletch. Did you see? I think you meant to say won their court case. Yeah, I got a text message from Ernst von Sale that they won it, but I haven't had a chance to read that. I've been a little busy this morning. I was expecting to go on with Willem Petri. He invited me to come on yesterday. He said to come on today. We scheduled it, and so I went to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that, a little bit after 3, because I was trying to answer people's emails. It's a lot, folks. Responding things, also responding to a few comments, and then I had to set streams up. Tomorrow, I have on Wynand Boshoff, from the Freedom Front Plus. We'll be talking about that expropriation act that's being proposed, because he knows more about it than I do. So it'll be discovery, learning for me, as it will be for many of you. Usually when I interview people, I know everything that I'm asking them. I know the answers to everything I'm asking them. And there's a reason why I direct the conversation the way I direct it, to get as much information out there as possible. It is rare that I learn something new in an interview. Truly rare. Sometimes I hear great quotes like Franz Kronia had the other day, but it's rare that I learn something new. My hope is that you learn something. In this case, I'll be interviewing someone I know very little about. I know who he is and who he's descended of, but I don't know the topic at hand very well because I'm not listening to a 3-hour recording that's poor quality. I can barely hear it to determine what was said in that meeting. There's no transcript I can look at. He knows about it. So we're going to talk about this new land access based on race. We're going to talk about that Saturday. That will be at 4 p.m. It'll be sandwiched in between my Bulls game early in the morning for me, and then that afterwards I'll come back to this channel, or go back to the rugby channel, and we will do the Scotland-England game. So, yeah, lots going on there. So, busy day tomorrow. I need to get some rest before that happens. Yeah, so thank you for that. Alex Stander. Selwyn fundamental. I'm thinking of swimming, Neville says. Okay. Steve says song Hondervlies. Okay. Saw that South African Commerce Office in America asked for more information about the refugee. You mean the Chamber of Commerce? Chamber of Commerce. Be specific. There's a commerce office here. I can always join because I can't as I'm at work. Okay, China, that's fine. The Steve Hoffmeyer vid was good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Refugee admissions, background checks, facts analysis. There you go. All right, thank you for posting that, Debbie. Tell us what you really think of Canada. Yeah, Tim Forster, really, no respect for people who stoop that low. No respect for the anthem. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's I've had enough of it. If that's how Canadians feel about America, then screw them. Screw them. I mean, I've known a lot of Canadians over my years. I've worked the Canadian Forces, and I think the Canadians are good people. But if that's how they're going to behave at a hockey game, and it wasn't one or two people, it wasn't a couple people, it was the majority of people in that arena. So screw them. Screw them. Hello, Jacob Basson. And there's another super chat. Lots of little super chats coming in. You guys are cool with these things. Was Biden's refugee and immigrant program designed to gain voters, and is Trump's halt on this program causing delays for South African refugees? Good questions, Daniel Smith. I'll get that in just a moment. Ronaldo's here. They said they will give an update before close of business day. It's now officially the weekend, and they have not released a statement. Yeah, because they're liars. It's the South African Captured Human Rights Commission. Hey, Ronaldo, how's it going? What are you up to? You on today? You're probably on in 15 minutes, be my guess. I'll notice that when 200 people betray me and go over to watch your broadcast. Ron DeSantis, Obama fraudulent birth certificate exposed. I don't know anything about that, Pierre. What are you talking about? Francois Diaga, okay. If that's true, it would be like the biggest scandal in ages. Let's see if anything happens to Noda. Nope, nothing happened to him. Mickey says, Viva Trump. Comrade Steenhuisen, I have to argue it's free speech, no matter how much we hate the contents of it. Yeah, I have to argue it too. It's free speech. The video that he put on YouTube should stay on YouTube. It didn't call for violence. It didn't promote scams. It's just an idiot spewing his hatred. It should be allowed on YouTube. I have no objection to it whatsoever. I have an objection to that turd ball, but I have no objection to it being on there. It's free speech. He should be allowed to say it. Anna Marie cried when she listened to it, that song. Do you think President Trump will be offended after some Afrikaner groups have declined his generous? No groups have declined anything, Fiona. Why do you think that? Who has declined? And don't tell me that Off Reform and Solidarity have declined, because they haven't. They said they are staying. They are saying they're speaking for their members. They're not speaking for everyone. So no group has declined it. Agri-SA doesn't speak for Afrikaners. Agri-SA speaks for the entrenched, rich corporate elites in corporate farming and in industry. That's who they speak for, not for everyone else. So no, Trump doesn't give a flying flip about that. And I think there was a very good interview on ENCA with Joel Pollak, who's getting all the attention. I haven't seen any of the media outlets call me. Joel Pollak's getting all the phone calls, and he keeps hitting them hard. I guess they thought they'd get a soft approach by talking to Joel Pollak, and they're not talking to me. And so Joel Pollak is in the same business I'm in. He's in media. He's at Breitbart, and I have my own network. So there's another super chat. Thank you for that. So, they keep going to Joel Pollak, and Joel Pollak keeps smacking him down, So the stupidity of the arrogant asshat of a journalist that was on ENCA lecturing to Joel Pollak, what about blah, 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 instead of asking questions, or asking a question in a way that provokes a conversation, she's just trying to tell him he's wrong. You know what you're talking about, essentially. And he's just politely and calmly responds back. She said, well, no farms have been expropriated. No one's confiscated any land. So why is Trump upset? And then Joel Pollak calmly says, well, yeah, the Anti-Communism Act passed by the National Party, nothing happened when it was passed. It was later that people were pressed under it. It was used to go after majority population. And he's 100% correct. So their argument is that the law that allows the government to take property hasn't been used yet. That's your justification that's okay? What kind of moron comes up with that argument? Now, Joel Pollak won't be that impolite. I will be that impolite. What kind of moron comes up with that stuff? Anyway. No, I wouldn't worry about that, Fiona. Donald Trump is not stupid. I love this. Trump is being influenced by Elon Musk. No. You don't get Trump at all if you think that. Peter says, hi from London, missing Cape Town. London, where are you in London? What about, are you in the East End? Ooh, be careful over there. Are you in the High Street, Oxford Street? Ooh, be careful there. That's like walking through Riyadh these days. Okay, you mentioned that you would be visiting Western Cape in your next visit. Where am I asked? Well, Reg Dodd, I will be for sure in Woodbridge Island. I'll be in Cape Town Central. I'll be in Somerset West, Stellenbosch, probably Parle, maybe Wellington. I'm thinking about Eiserfontein, not guaranteed, but I'm thinking about it, and maybe Fellowdrift. If I can get a big enough audience in Fellowdrift, I might go spend a night in Fellowdrift. But my Fellowdrift audience is disappearing. I haven't seen the Mybergs here. Where are you hiding at, Mybergs? Gordons Bay for sure. Beyond that, I might go back to Simonstown, but I'm not 100% on that. So, look, I'm considering that. And then maybe Hermanus, just because people have been asking me to go to Hermanus. So I might be doing that on this trip. So, yeah, that's the Western Cape. There's another super chat. Boy, I'm falling behind on these. I got to catch up. So, yeah. But I get all over Edge. I rack up a lot of miles on the cars. When you open chat, I need to close video and reopen it. Maybe that's why viewers drop. Could be. That could be it. Could be it. Hey, Ronaldo, welcome. Are you here to stir again? Marissa Besselar, welcome back. That could be it. That could be it. Tom Smith, I don't attend sports games, but I wouldn't boo anyone's anthem. Exactly. It's just it's crass. It's rude. You know, it's unbelievable somebody would do that. What will your interview with Willem Petzer be about, Colette? I don't know Colette. He just asked me to come on. I think he wants me to talk about, the situation and what's going on with the refugee program. So he maybe wants my takes. Willem came under a lot of criticism for his video. I haven't watched it. It was an Afrikaans in which people claimed he gave misleading information. I don't know. I'm not claiming that. Don't say I said that. I'm just telling you that a lot of people came out here and criticized. I said a lot of people. And Willem watched some of my videos. A lot of people came out and criticized him. I don't know if it was legitimate or not. But I knew a lot of people, sorry, I had to stretch. A lot of people criticized him, and maybe that's why he wants to talk to me. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, Kash Patel is confirmed. That confirmed this. How's your rugby schedule this weekend? Well, I have the Bulls tomorrow morning. I think it's Bulls and Lions, 7 a.m., which would be 2 p.m. South African time. Then I'm doing an interview with Venant Boshoff on this channel. Then back to Rugby Ascendant for Scotland, England. I'm not doing the rest of the Six Nations this weekend, just that. Still, I need a break. I started writing an article 5 days ago, and I've not finished it. It's sitting on my laptop. I got to get to that. Still reeling about the F you to the Canadian team. That wasn't the Canadian team. That was to the Canadian fans. Yep. Do not know how true it is, but Putin allegedly also cut funding to ANC. I don't know anything about that. Good evening, Danny Funderberg. Funderberg. I want to say Dane. It's German, Dane. Welcome. If it's Dane, it's German. But yeah, it's probably the Dutch. Trump is very open-minded to the world and many different people in it. He knows there is great appreciation. Yep, exactly. Ormagan. Yes, he spoke about you on a video. Saw it today. Who? Willem did? What did he say about me? Or are you talking about Evan, the attorney? All right. Alma Neti Fundamental. Why are these super chats not showing up over here? Odd. I have to find them. How dumb is this Noti Beloy? The highest ranking black dude is 344th on Forbes, and he's a black American. Okay, nice ostrich biltong at Woodstore. Okay, there's that one just came up, so I missed some. Charisse Rosen gave it 20-pound super chat. Oh my goodness! I feel like Ronaldo. That'll pay my electric bill, pay my mortgage. That's what Ronaldo always says. Let me go. I got to go because I'm missing these super chats. Trying to get through this, so I don't want to shortchange anybody. Let me go over to the only place I can look at them in after they've been done. So super chats. Where are we at here? Here we go. Started with Colette was a super sticker for 40 Rand. Thank you. Nicklin, a super sticker for 10 Rand. Fiona Fundevalt, a super sticker for 50 Rand. Then Daniel Smith says, I answered that question. Biden's refugee immigration designed to gain. Oh, that I didn't answer. Was Biden's refugee immigration program designed to gain voters, and is Trump's halt on the program causing delays? Good question. I promise I'd get back to it. Thank you for your patience, Daniel. Biden's refugee program, it comes from a place of stupidity. The Democrats, some of them actually believe that this country is racist and that the only way to make it better is to wipe out white people. And these are white people that do this, to make us a minority so that we suffer the so-called oppression others are suffering. It's idiocy of its highest order. People claim it's about voters. Yeah, but these people don't become voters for 5 or 10 years. Maybe they're playing a long game. But the immediate game is to cause chaos. And also to skew voting outcomes, because they do the census and they do the allocation of congressional districts not based on citizens, but based on population. So if you have a district full of hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens in a Democratic district, then the Democrat, you're going to get more seats in that state. So anyway, and another state will lose seats. Does Trump's halt cause delays for South? No, it doesn't cause any delays because no one's coming here. Daniel, apparently you missed my video last night, and the other one. I've said this. No one is coming here. The refugee program was frozen on January 20th by President Trump. And there's Christian Fundevelt, Erica Soothby, 35. Good job, thank you. Christian Fundevelt, can we stay at your place? We'll bring tents. No tents on my property. You might wind up in dog poo because irresponsible pet owners letting their dogs defecate in people's yards around here. It's illegal, by the way, but they do it. No, it has no impact because the program is frozen, so no refugee around the world is coming here. As I reported previously, over 26,000 refugees were scheduled to come to America over the next few months, and they have now not been able to come as a consequence because Trump froze the program for 90 days to review it because of widespread fraud under the Biden regime. And so that program was frozen. But Trump directed that they prioritize refugee arrivals from South Africa. So whether that unfreezes that, we don't know. Whether the freeze lasts for 90 days and then whatever program comes in place, I don't know. But the bottom line is that no one's coming here now anyway. So people need to calm down and quit panicking. Boy, the super chats are coming left and right now. 360 said a lot of people comment on Williams' broadcasts. He should get info from you. Maybe that's why he asked me to come on. We had a very amicable conversation last night. And then Flourishing Blanket, 50. Oh, that's 70 Rand. Thank you for that. 360. Flourishing Blanket, 60 Rand. That's your first super chat. Thank you so much for that. Wow, you guys are awesome here. Then Selwyn Fondamev, 140 Rand says, shh, don't tell Ronaldo I gave you super chat. I won't, Selvin. George Steinberg gave a 350 Rand super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Wow. And Cherise Rosen, that 20-pound British pounds. Wow, 20 British pounds, man. That's like real money. You know, it's like real. I mean, that's even more real money than dollars, you know. 50-year-old man is arrested. Yes, Stephen, I commented on that in the news. You missed that. He's appearing in court. So there's one from George Steinberg. Hugo Breitenbach is proudly Neanderthal. Okay, what is your schedule arrangement for an interview with Elon Musk? What is my schedule arrangement? I don't have an interview with Elon Musk. Do you have him available for me? I'll broadcast anytime he wants to talk. I'll drop whatever I'm doing. Where do you guys get money for Super Chat? Not even paid yet. Yeah, well, people have different sources of money. Some people are not frivolous with their money. They save it. What happens? Plus, this is a credit card. This is a credit card. It's not like the money is being delivered this moment. It's a credit card. They charge your credit card and it comes out and you have to pay on your next bill. So, Gideon Saman here. Canadians show their true colors. Yeah, it's very sad, Gideon. I'm really sad to see that. Not all Canadians, obviously, but that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Looks like the ANC waving middle finger USA. Lamola called the executive order racist and that South Africa would continue. Well, I haven't seen Lamola's comment, but I'll make a video on that when I can find it. So Ronnie Lamola said it was racist. Okay, let me make a note of that so I remember to go look that up. Lamola, okay. Executive order racist. It's not racist. Ronnie Lamola is a very stupid individual. He's not very bright. I don't know what he got in high school, but clearly it wasn't enough to finish school. George Steinberg, thank you for the super sticker. Woodbridge Island around the corner for me in Isterplaat. Yeah, no, I go there and I go to Blaubergstrand. I also go there. I stayed in Blaubergstrand, go to the German brewery there. It's pretty nice. The Kapstadt Brauhaus, really nice. Super chat coming from Braun, 50 Rand. Thank you so much. I've canceled Ag Reform and Solidarity. Enough is enough. Ag Reform? Do you mean AfReform? Isabel, I'm not sure why you cancel them. You don't think they represent your interest? I'm sorry to hear that. Fellow Drift is beautiful, says Elsa. I only saw it briefly, and I had a lovely lunch with a bunch of viewers. We had like 18 viewers there. It was incredible. I had no idea that many people watch it. But then I went to Eiserfontein on Ronaldo's recommendation. He said his brother would be there, but then his brother was gone. And I got there and I'm like, oh, nothing's going to happen here. It's going to be boring. And then while I'm getting stuff out of my car to get into the hotel, this lady starts talking to me in Afrikaans from across the street, and I wasn't really listening. I picked up on it. I realized she's talking to me. I turned around. You know, it's Eiserfontein. There's no one on the streets. And it was a little package store next to the hotel. And we're talking, and she said, I came across and said, sorry. And she started talking English. She goes, my son, he knows you, he watches you. I said, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting to be noticed in Eiserfontein. I said, okay, well, that's pretty cool. Where's he at? Well, he's in the car. I said, he's in the car. Did he let you do the shopping? Yeah. I said, well, let's go embarrass him. So we got him out of the car, and the guy was huge, like one of these Australian gator wrestlers. His name was Jock. And so I said, hey, I'm having a meet and greet later on because people said they're going to come to it. And it's right here if you want to come. You're invited. So I went and had my meet and greet. Nobody showed up. So I ordered something to eat. But then about 20 minutes in, Jock showed up. We had a nice conversation. Later that evening, after going around, checking out the place, looking at all the houses being built along the coastline there, I went for dinner that night. And in the place where I was eating dinner, some drunk came over, was just being obnoxious, and they finally got rid of him. I just was tolerant of him. But the young waiter there recognized me. He was from Gauteng, and he moved down to Fontaine and was working in this restaurant bar. I've got the cap for it. I've worn that a few shows. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting. So I got recognized a couple more times in Fontaine. I didn't expect to be noticed at all there. It was pretty cool. Then went from there to Fellow Drift and saw a bunch of people from there. I went to Citrusdal, and then I wrapped up my day heading south down to Ceres, where I stayed overnight. Ever been to the Free State? Oh, many, many times, Raina, but it's a bit far. My most recent trip to the Free State was in 2022 when I went from Clarence to Senecal down to Bloemfontein, and I went to the Grey Lodge, stayed there, and got a tour of Grey College from the director of rugby there, and then I had an interview with Nas Botha. He came and we spoke for 2 hours. Pretty cool. Then I had to leave there and hit the road to get to Vanderbijl Park. Okay. It's unbelievable how Ancelotti is being attacked in the comments on the letter he posted about resigning. What comments? On his letter or on my channel? Marie Hagen, where's that attack coming at? 14 Rand. Well, you guys are keeping it going there. I just wanted to be here, hear you ring the bell. Well, Waldo, I just rang the bell for you. The millionaires are starting to join my channel. No, these aren't millionaires. 14, 50, 60 Rand. Those are not millionaires. Those are everyday Joes and Janes. The millionaires are the ones that come with those 3,500 Rand super chats. Those are millionaires. Yeah, those are millionaires. As long as you keep in contact, and I'll see you somewhere. Hey, Dylan. What are you talking about? What's going on? A bit late, says Waldo. Okay. Shante Vitamin. Henk Duploy. Pierre Rousseau. Get a famous rooster cook en route to Isterfontein. Okay. Jenny June. Well, I have to go by the Koeberg nuclear facility because, Langley wants pictures. Elsa. Wow, super chat's coming. 35 Rand. Thank you for that, Elsa. Appreciate it. Cool beans, cool beans, cool beans, cool beans. 666 viewers. No. Okay, one left. It's 665. We don't have to be superstitious. Fontaine, definitely. Then we can meet you. Rihanna, yeah, no, Fontaine, yep. When you open chat, I have to first go out and close again. Yeah, no, it's fine. I should remind people that in future. I'll do that. Jose da Silva, see that useless South African government has nothing to say about the release of the dead hostages and what... Exactly. These murdered 8-month-old child and a 4-month-old baby, butchered, and their bodies held for over a year. And they try to fake with the body that isn't even the woman that they claim to give back. Not a peep from Ronnie Lamola. Too busy saying that President Trump's executive order, which has nothing to do with South Africa, is racist. Yep. I like Vilman, I like Alfred Foreign, but people need to stand together and not be competitive. I'm not competing with anybody. Watch Redacted this morning, and they said it was disgusting how people booed. Yeah, exactly. I saw the video of Stellenbosch too, where students took over the classroom. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I thought I saved it. Here it is. So this came from IOL. So give credit to IOL on this one. That's where it came from. Yeah, this is just a bunch of toying. These people are disgraceful, and they need to be booted out of campus immediately. Who are you to interrupt people's education? And look at the white students just sitting there taking it. So people are paying for an education just to have these clowns walk in and act like jackasses. This is what happens when you tolerate... what's the phrase I want to use here? Those who don't deserve me university, I'll just say that. I'll jump ahead here. And look at they just interrupting this class. So these are students that supposedly want debt forgiven. They want a free ride in college. They feel they're entitled to it. Do any of them look like they're suffering, lacking a meal? I mean, honestly, does even one of them look like they've missed a meal in the past decade? Not to mention the expensive weave and the blue hair on the one there on the left, the clothing. None of these people are suffering. Bunch of freeloading beggars. Unbelievable. It's a good thing I'm not there. I'm just saying, it's a good thing I'm not there. Anyway, that's what happened to Stellenbosch. Yep, absolutely. That's the nonsense going on in South Africa. Willem for president, says Skiv. Okay. Watched. Okay. So redacted. Okay. That's the Stellenbosch. Okay. Ik het die aangezien. Really? Okay. President Trump doesn't need to be influenced by anyone. Yep, he's self-influenced. Exactly. There's a super chat coming in there from... Why is it not showing up over here? It comes over here, 14. Oh, it just came up. That's one from a little bit ago. A little slow there. Oops, and my tab just crashed from YouTube. Well, thank you for that, YouTube. Boy, they are got some problems. I don't know what they're sending out that causes tabs to collapse, but they're doing it. Looking to stay in Tennessee, Maryville or Knoxville? Are you asking me a question? I'm not looking to stay in... Oh, you're asking me which town? I can't answer that question for you. It's what's of interest to you, but thank you. I can look at both of them for you, but we can both do the research. Debbie Wilson, hello to you. Debbie Moray, Ostrich Biltong. Oh, okay, cool. How does a private pension fund work there? Will we be able to transfer it out of South Africa? How does my private pension fund? I don't have a private pension fund. Are you asking the country? I don't. My pension is from the military, and it's not really a pension. It comes out of annual operating budget, and that's why the military always wants to cut. They want to reduce benefits. So military retirees, our money is supposedly put into a fund. They take money every year from operations, put it in a fund, but it's not an interest-earning fund. It doesn't grow. It's just money that sits there as part. Thank you for another super chat, Barto. South African idiots did not say anything on the BRICS member, India visiting Trump either. Yeah, exactly. Look how they distort everything. India's visiting the U.S., Saudi Arabia, that's where Trump is at. That's another BRICS member. And don't say anything about that and act like it's just an antagonistic relationship. No, it's just an antagonistic relationship with the totalitarian fascist governments of Brazil, Russia, China, and South Africa. That's the only antagonistic part of BRICS. The rest of it isn't a problem for the U.S. Yeah, so my pension fund... The Army puts a little bit of money, the Navy puts a little bit of money every year, and the money's drawn out of that. So it's not a true pension fund in any respect. Also, my pension could be taken away. I mean, if I were recalled to active duty to be prosecuted for a crime that I committed, because I can be tried by a civilian and military court because I'm a retiree if I commit a crime, they can strip me of my pension. My veterans benefits can be stripped from me that I've received for disability and be forced to pay it back. So they really have a hold on us from that standpoint. So you got to be law-abiding and well-behaved. Well, you should be, so it shouldn't be an issue. Private pension funds work in a way that they, like CalPERS, the California Pension System, which is the state retirement system for state employees, but it's privately run. So CalPERS invest in stocks and bonds and precious metals, whatever, real estate, whatever they need to grow that. It's an investment fund that's supposed to grow, but it has a shortfall because they haven't put enough cash into it. So you have other pension funds that do something similar. Corporate pension funds are like that. Tom Smith, $10. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for keeping attention to these topics. You're very welcome, Tom. It's my pleasure. So private pension funds will do invest in things, and the idea is to grow the fund and cover the expenses. But a lot of pension funds have been neglected over the years. One of the big problems with the automobile manufacturers is that the greedy unions would demand outrageously high hourly wages and benefits for their employees, which were unsustainable, and they would put these corporate or these automobile manufacturers in a tough spot. So one way they made up for it is they scrimped on putting money in retirement. So like, for instance, General Motors had outstanding tens of billions of dollars in pension liabilities. Now, that liability is based on expected life expectancy of a retiree and how much they're going to draw over that time. And you project and go, whoo, we're supposed to have 10 billion and we've got 2 billion. We got a problem. And that's one of the biggest debt problems in this country is unfunded pension liabilities. The United States has probably 80 to 100 trillion dollars. Is that right? Yeah, trillion. Yeah, $1 trillion that's in unfunded pensions. This is frightening. And people never look at that. Those pensions have to be paid. The money's got to come from somewhere. The Social Security is supposedly a pension, but it's not. It's really supplemental, and it comes out of the money you pay in. But they spend all the money. They put it in general revenue and they waste it all, and so there's no money there. The problem there is you got to keep putting ever more workers into the workforce to pay for the benefits of people who are living longer and longer. So I'm not really sure how to answer your question. You'd have to give me a specific case. Come to Uitshorn. We will host you. I've been invited to Uitshorn. Hein Marks invited me there, but that's a bit out of the way. Sharice, thank you for the 20 pounds again. I was so pissed with Solidarity. I wanted to speak my mind on behalf. What did Solidarity do, Elizabeth, that pissed you off? We can get to Feldrift. That's not too far from us. We live in Grafwater. We'll bring the... I don't eat lamb. Don't bring lamb for me. I don't eat lamb. Okay, I just got a message I got to check out here. I don't eat lamb. Thank you for that. I'm a very picky eater. That's very kind of you, but I do not eat it. What the heck's going on here? Oh, that's nonsense. A freaking unsolicited text message. Okay. bottle of Marius Rubicon. Okay. You're welcome to visit us in Jakobsby, 25 kilometers from Felldrift. Well, which way? Further north? Danny Grove, welcome to you. All right, subscriptions look like they're picking up since we went live here. Them orange pounds. Lekka from the UK. It is Lekka, yep. There's another super chat from SV, 35 Rand. This is so you can buy Ronaldo a cheap wine. That is a cheap wine, 35 Rand. Adele says there is a YouTube that says, and bad about Willem and the dog remarks. A new. Okay, I think I follow that. Erica Suti, I think 35 Rand. Good job. Thank you for that. The fox on there. Love your EKG slip up. That's German. Yeah. Yeah, it was the German. Yep. Farm is owned by the Mueller family. Okay. Napoleon Dynamite. Trump will literally get all the Afrikaner votes that come to the U.S. Well, I would imagine. Yeah. Can we stay? But the problem is that Trump is never running again. There's no votes for Trump. It's over. He can't run again. So he doesn't need your votes. See, this isn't for Trump. This isn't for Trump for votes. Maybe you could say he's looking long term for Republicans, but even that's not a guarantee. Can we stay at your place? We'll bring tents. That was 14 from Christian. Conservatives. Oh, gotcha. Hello, Chris. Just wondering, when in the U.S. would we be held responsible for paying for our green cards, residency, or would be financial assistance for that too? Suzanne, that's a video I haven't made yet. I have all the information I'm going to make of that, but frankly, not many people are watching the videos. I mean, I feel like I'm wasting my time. This stuff isn't free. I got stuff going on here, and I got to take it. So the videos I made on refugee missions, 24,000. The second one, 12,000. Why do I bother? People just come here and ask the question. But the videos need to be made, so there's a record of it. But I'll make the video to answer your question. You don't pay for your green card. You don't pay for your residency. You're a refugee. You don't pay. 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 You do pay for your transport, not up front. If you have to fly by commercial to come here as a refugee, the U.S. government will foot the bill, and they'll in the form of a loan, interest-free loan. And at the 6-month point, you start paying it back. Yeah, and so financial assistance. Of course, there's financial assistance, and I'll talk about that in my video. It's all kinds of financial assistance. It's not. You're not going to be the Kardashians. You're not going to be wealthy, but it helps you get going. But it's not. This is not a free ride. We're not looking for welfare cases. Now that said, if you're disabled, if you're visually impaired, blind, hearing impaired, amputee, and you can't work or something like that, or your retirement age, yeah, there's not an expectation to contribute, but those who are capable are expected to work and earn their way. The rest of you are going to get handouts, unfortunately for us taxpayers, but fortunate for you. So a lot of people commented, Williams, okay, thank you. Maybe that's why. God bless it. Why is this chat stuck over here? I got to refresh it now. It's stuck on me here. All right. Gideon says you have 5 times more viewers than Ronaldo. Why, is he live right now? Okay. All right. Charles, the money was sent to person. You will pay UPSA back. Okay. Something wrong with my chat over here, and I can't really do anything about it. So let me see if I can't get away from that. But I cannot get my chat to refresh. As long as I'm still broadcasting, I'm not going to mess with it. I'll just have to look over here to the chat now because that's never happened before. I'm trying to release it. It's not going anywhere, so I don't want to crash my streaming software. So let me just ignore that, and I have to look over here to the chat now. So too many super chats. His super chats melted down my broadcasting software. The Trump bump didn't work for Ronaldo's channels. Okay. Thanks for all your effort, Chris, gathering and informing us as much as we appreciate. Yep. We don't want handouts. We want to work and earn an honest living. Being allowed to recreate is already a big enough gift. Estelle, I didn't say you wanted handouts. I said people are going to get handouts. 92-year-old who is incapable of working is not going to be denied refugee status because they're 92 years old. They're going to come here. They're not going to work. So they're going to get handouts. It's as simple as that. That's if you don't like it, then I guess you're 92. You just stay where you're at. I'm just saying. So I don't like handouts either. I've never taken a handout in my life. The exception is when I was at university as a freshman, my grandmother sent me money because I was a little short on money, but I didn't ask my grandmother for it. It came from her, a few $100s when I was at university to pay for my spring tuition. And later found out that my mom really did that, not my grandmother. Anyway, but that's the closest thing I've ever come to a handout. That was a gift. I was entitled to the minimum amount of unemployment insurance when I got out of the Army. So the day I got out of the Army, I could have gotten a paycheck for a check from the state of Ohio for not working. I went to the Employment Bureau to register to find jobs, because I wanted to work in the summertime before I started classes. I wound up going to class in the summer anyway. This is in April of 1987. And I went to the employment agent. It was such a depressing and dirty feeling being there that I just didn't like it. And I didn't bother even applying for unemployment benefits because I never paid unemployment insurance. I was in the Army, and I didn't think it was fair for me to get that. And I didn't have any money. I was a college student, and that was my decision. I was buying beat-up used car, and mopping floors and bussing tables and stuff like that, and that was my decision. I appreciate where you're coming from. You don't like handouts. I don't like them either. But sometimes some people are in a situation that not through their own making, that they just need that help. Okay, this thing is still stuck. Is it moving? No, it's still stuck. Okay. All right. Yeah, so what is this? I'm not sure why that message was deleted. Would getting a marriage license and we both apply for refugee status give us a better chance? No, it doesn't give a better chance. You may not be able to be together if you're not married, but whether you're married or not isn't going to give you a better chance to get here. All right, so message getting deleted, folks. So be careful what you're putting out there. Pablo Charlie, you're going to get a timeout. Stop trolling. It's not funny. This isn't your little attention-seeking thing. It wears thin, and you've been just had a message deleted. Next time, it's a timeout. And moderators, smack the hammer now if he's going to behave like that. Karam is like no other lamb in the world. Yeah, that's true, Copy, but I don't eat lamb. I don't eat sheep shag and meat. Nope. Not going to touch it. Tried it, found it disgusting. Just know getting sponsorship for a green card is pretty costly when working through a lawyer. Well, Suzanne, that doesn't apply here. I made a video last night. See, this is getting frustrating for me. I make the videos and people don't watch them. They claim they watch them, but they don't watch them. They come here with the same questions I've already answered. I'm not saying you claim to have been here. Oh, it just jumped on me. I'm not claiming you said... Oh, this is screwed up. Anyway, I'm not saying you claim that, Suzanne. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that I get the same questions over and over again that I just answered. I made a video last night just addressing this particular thing. Urging caution, good judgment for South African refugees. In that, I said, you don't need a lawyer. Oh, this just froze too. Boy, YouTube, what is going on with you, man? They are doing some crazy stuff here. So let me make sure I'm still live here before I keep prattling on. Talking to myself, talking to the wall, howling at the wind. Are we there? We're there. Yeah, there we're back. Okay. 560 likes. Okay, so Suzanne, I think it was Suzanne Sten was the name. Getting a green card isn't relevant. It isn't germane to your situation. This is refugee status. Refugee status. Wow, this is really acting up over here inside my software. Anyway, okay, it's finally caught up. Now it's finally working over here. So Suzanne, when did she do that? Just a few moments ago. That was at 12:14. It's easier for me to see it over here. So, Captain Bannister, I missed you there. Fanny and Jean Epic, watch USA Immigration Lawyer today, suggesting people follow you for good advice. Also confirm. Yeah, no, that guy's name is Evan. I never seen him before, but when I saw his channel popped up, I watched it. I put some comments on there, and I liked it, and I subscribed to his channel. And I also put that on Twitter so people would see it. So, yeah. See that? I'm not an attorney. I'm just an intelligence analyst and a journalist. And unlike the journalists in South Africa or at the New York Times, I can actually read and analyze and think cogently and tell you the truth. Again, I'm not encouraging anybody to come here. I'm not discouraging. Back to Suzanne. Let me get to that. Rudy, I just want to know, will they let us know when to apply? Well, of course they will, Rudy. I mean, look, I don't mean to be a smartass towards you, Rudy, but do you think they're going to create the program? Okay. People don't take this the wrong way. I'm not picking Rudy, but... So today we send the program to the president. Shh, hush, hush. Top secret. The Trumpster Reads program. I approve. So the State Department, we got the program back. The president signed it. Got the Trump signature. Okay, we're not going to tell anybody in South Africa. We're just going to keep it to ourselves. We're not going to tell anybody. Come on, man. Of course they're going to tell you. Of course they're going to tell you. Super chat there from Danny Smith again. I'll get to that shortly. My neighbor's daughter attends varsity there. She says, dare those white kids stand up in objection, then it's racist. My neighbor's single mother sends her daughter there. I have no idea what you're saying, Cyber Eggs. Varsity where? Varsity is high school in America. In South Africa, it's college. I need context where you're talking about. After 6 hours home affairs, surrounded by street people harass me, I'm 100% all in for moving. Yep. I just want to know, will they... Oh, yeah. Thank you. There you go, Rudy. Okay. Would you still consider buying property in Western Cape for anyone considering residing? Yeah. No, Peter. Yeah, I would consider it. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I would consider it. Yeah, I would. Because when Trump does announce this program, the rand is going to tank. The rand is going to tank. It's going to be a buying opportunity. Yeah. Although maybe it'll be better before then. We'll see. GrowX, Chris, in your mind, are there alternative ways to restructure the U.S. and other banking systems, national resources to allow for better outcomes? I don't know the outcomes are bad. You have to explain to me what bad outcomes you're getting from banking. Came across a video today. There's a South African who has a butcher, and he's making South African meats. Okay. Yeah, no, there's lots of South Africans making biltong and such here in the United States. You can give absent no compensation. There you go. Ronell, okay. Slippery Pickle. Hey, Slippery Pickle, how's it going there, man? Vote for J.D. Vance. Arctic, of course, I dreamt it. Prayed for help for us. Trump is different this time. Yeah, this is not the same Trump. And that's the problem that the ANC, they can't differentiate between Trump of 2017, 2021 and the guy who was nearly assassinated twice. This is a different guy. Chris lives in Gordons Bay. Oh, I love Gordons Bay. To visit. I haven't lived there. Yeah, I've stayed there. I like Somerset West. I like Gordons Bay. Okay. Oh, maybe I misread it, Loretta. Maybe I misread it. Lambert's Pie. I thought it said something else. I might have misread it. And my eyes are a little focused. Also, Neil DeBeer went and opened a case against a guy. Well, Neil didn't open the case to my knowledge. I spoke to Neil. He told me someone else that did it. You have 5 times more viewers. Okay, now I'm catching up. Almost to 14. I want to get back to that question she had. Okay. Oh, it jumped. How did I get past that? 12:14 is what I'm looking for. Suzanne, it was. 12:14. Come on, where's it at? Okay, there it says. Thanks, Chris. Just getting sponsorship for green card is pretty costly and working through a lawyer. Again, Suzanne Sten, you do not work through a lawyer. If you're going to a lawyer for refugee status, you're getting defrauded. You don't need a lawyer. The United States government is making a determination that you're persecuted, and therefore you qualify for a program. Now, you might have to give specifics of your case because of the unique situation in South Africa, but the class of people he's identifying, as long as you're part of that class, you don't have to go before a judge. If you're seeking asylum to come to America, or you're immigrating to America, you have to go as asylum seeker before a judge. The judge's mission is to turn you away. The default position for an asylum judge is, no, you're not coming in the country. You have to prove to him why you should come in the country. So that's why many of the cases are rejected, because people can't prove it because they're not real asylum seekers. They're economic migrants, and we're not taking economic migrants to go back. So in a refugee case, you don't need a lawyer. You don't go to court. You don't appear for a judge. You don't apply for a green card through a judge. You apply on your own once you're in the States within 12 months. So there is no cost to this, Suzanne. People who've told you that are liars. They're misleading you. If you don't believe me, go to the USCIS website. Go read the president's report. Do a Google search. Every year, the president must give a report to Congress on the U.S. refugee program, admissions program. And in it tells you how many people come from all around the world, what the cap was that year, what the program is, what the priorities are, what the categories of people are, how much we spent, all this stuff, all the money, all the resources. So let me go through that again. I've got a list here of just a small list of the acronyms that apply in this case. There is money out the wazoo that we spend out of the generosity of our hearts to take people out of shithole countries and get them to America because we're too freaking generous. That's why. So here's just a few. The U.S. offers refugee cash assistance. We give you money. Nobody gives me any money. The government doesn't give me any money. Then you've got the temporary assistance for needy families. You've got supplemental security income. You've got Medicaid for those who qualify for it, even though they never paid into it. You've got supplemental nutritional assistance program or food stamps for those who come here who don't have any money. The list goes on and on. Cash assistance, medical assistance, employment preparation. It's incredibly generous. It's unbelievably generous. So, refugee cash assistance, refugee medical assistance, refugee support services, reception placement. This is all put in there. This is an incredibly sophisticated and long-established program that all the people that are telling you otherwise are lying. You don't need money for this. You don't need a lawyer for this. Stop looking for one. If you don't believe me, go do the research yourself. I've done it for you free of charge. Suzanne, that's not direct to you, so don't take offense there. A 67-year-old man, 60-year-old woman, are we eligible to work in the U.S.? Yeah, of course you are. There's no age limit in working in America. Getting a job might be hard, but there's no age limit. I'm here to say goodbye. We disagree on too much. I'll see you in the battlefield. Gideon Schaumburg, well, bye. You won't be missed. What is this? You're such an ass. I haven't even said anything about your comments today. Did you see Rob Hersov Chow talking about South Africa, hoping that BRICS countries are going to back them after? I don't know what Chow means. Jan Jordan, what's your predictions for Germany elections? Gideon Schaumburg, I've got this to say. If we disagree on too much, then you're just a dangerous person. because nothing I say is radical. Nothing I say is anything but fair to everybody, regardless of their orientation or their ethnic origin or their faith. So if you don't like in people being treated equal, then that's probably why you're not happy here. You prefer to see a class of people oppressed, and that's your problem, Gideon. Go enjoy your misery. Okay. I didn't see that, Nico. That's why my boyfriend and I would get married before applying. Yes. No, it's not yes. No. Stop. Stop giving bad misinformation. The question was, will you get a better chance to come to America if you're married? No, it doesn't give a better chance. That doesn't give a better chance. If you want to come together as a family, yeah, that gives you a better chance. That's a different question. You need to visit us in Nelspruit for Afrikaans Music Festival in July. July is going to be tough. I don't think I'm going to make it. That's a back-to-back trip. But yeah, I haven't been in Nelspruit in a long time. So yeah, I need to get there. I want to go for a Springboks game. I might come for that. I think there's one. No, it won't be happening when I'm there. It's after I'm there. Will I be able to study if I'm older than 52? Study what, Nico? Of course you can study. You can study anytime. I just finished the university program in my late 50s. There's another super chat. Thank you for that. And that was, that's not showing up. Oh, there it is from E.S. Oosthuizen. Thank you for the time to call the Don again. Oh, it's time. You think it's time for me to call the Don again? Okay. Yeah, get him to get on the stick there. I just finished a program with the University of Michigan State University for beekeeping. I'm a graduate of the program and qualified apiist now, which has nothing to do with simians, apiist. So of course you can study. You can study at any age. There's no limit on that. Now you're going to have to pay for it. You might get a scholarship, might get a grant, but you got to pay for it. Man, in the 80s, it works at a local grocery store. Yep. Yeah, no, I know a guy, 88 years old. He still works. Do you know the Overberg test range? Useless. Nobody lives there. Okay. Anyone can do work. Yep. The pension age is 60. No, it's not. Pension age is 62 at the earliest. Social Security sets the pension age. Pension age for military is 20 years. And if you come in the military at 17, that means you can retire at 37. But here's the thing. So if you retire at 37, I'm just going to pick an arbitrary number. Nobody's retirement is at this, but if you get $1,000 a month, you get your military pay, 50% of your military pay. But it's just your pay. You don't get the housing allowance. You don't get any special bonuses. You don't get proficiency pay, none of that, which makes up a significant amount of people's actual income from the military. So your pay is about 65, maybe 70% of your remuneration. So start with $1,000 at 50%. That's what you get. Say you had $2,000 salary, you wind up with 50% 20 years. So from that $1,000, okay, you still got to pay taxes. So even if you pay just 10%, then you're down to $900, and they're going to take out Social Security. That's going to be another $70. So you're down to $830. And then you got a medical. You don't get medical for that. You got to pay for insurance. So anyway, it's that's the 37. So people who retire at 37, 38 years old after 20 years in the military, for the most part, have to go find a job. They can't live off that. Okay. Okay, Chris, I feel that way about goat. I don't eat goat either, Tom. Been chucked out of the live 3 times. Frank, so have I. But as long as we're still broadcasting, it's okay. Lamb is great. It's your loss. Okay, Fleshin, thank you for that. It would be a Welshman. It tells me that I should like sheep. I'm just saying. Woo. Listen to what he says. People stop asking the same questions over and over, says Mervyn Skeppers. Can I join the police force or join the military as a refugee when the refugee program realizes? I've also answered that question 1,000 times. Of course you can, as long as you meet the requirements. You don't have to be an American to be in the military. You don't have to be an American to be a police officer in America, unless that police force requires it. Some do. You can be in this program, but you have age limits and you have qualifications. If you're going to be a cop, you're going to have to go to an academy somewhere. You don't just walk on and be a cop, even if you have previous experience. Maybe they'll let you, but no, normally you have to go to the academy. So, for instance, Brigadier General Don, I'm drawing a blank now, the guy who ran for the Senate up there, the Special Forces General in New Hampshire. He retired and in his 60s went to the New Hampshire Police Academy to become a reserve police officer. What's better, Bill tongue or beef jerky? Bill tongue, hands down. Beef jerky is a joke. So you can become a police officer in the military as long as you meet the standards. But age is an issue, fitness. Bear in mind that only 17% of American adults graduating high school are actually qualified to enter the military. Very high standards. We don't just take losers. So 17%. that's a very small pool to draw from. I like the video you made yesterday morning by the river. It looks so peaceful. I made that video by the river 2 weeks ago. But thank you for that if you just saw it. You inevitably need a lawyer stateside. Americans are famous for suing people. Slippery pickle. Okay. Did any person ever ask your true feeling about us coming to America? No one's ever asked me that, I thought. But I've given my opinion over and over again. Thank you for that super chat, Ina Chatman. Enjoy the rugby. Thank you so much. That 20 pounds. Wow. Where's that coming from? Thank you so much. Very kind of you. These nice, those dollar and pound chats are awesome. I love the rand ones too, but the dollar and pound ones really are nice. The dollar ones don't have to get translated or converted, so I don't lose money there. So Marco Brits, I don't think anyone's actually asked me my thoughts of Afrikaners or South Africans coming to America. I'm saddened. I don't go to South Africa to, just see the mountains and see the rivers and see the sights. I go to meet South Africans, and if South Africans continue to leave South Africa, that's kind of sad. I understand why, though. I'm not. That's why I tell you I'm agnostic. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm not encouraging anyone to leave. I'm not discouraging anyone to leave. That's a personal choice. I'm just sad it came to that. I'd much rather than put pressure that the ANC change and stop being racist. That's what I prefer, and people to be treated fairly in South Africa. But unfortunately, that's not happening. Sorry, I'm just dealing with something. Okay, it looks like it was taken out there. Okay, I was looking for a chat, it's disappeared. Kieran Otto, I appreciate your very valuable info and you're giving out. Don't let the misinformed get to you. No, it's fine, Kieran. I'm still here. I'm still pushing, although it does get a bit wearing at times. Some people love lamb. Yeah, some people do. I'm not one of them. Meerkat, you make so much trouble answering questions and making videos. So patient. Thank you. If you're planning to move hundreds of thousands of people, would it logistically, financially make more sense to book out a couple of cruise ships? Well, those cruise ships aren't cheap, man. Just received another email from Chamber of Commerce. What does it say, Angie? Don't ask refugee questions, peeps. There are videos that Colonel made in Google to address those concerns. Thank you, Salty. Are you not going to watch the Ireland versus Wales game? I may watch it, Ina, but I'm not going to call it. I do on Rugby Ascent. I do play-by-play and color commentary, but I need to step back and take a break from that this weekend because URC action's coming right back, and I'll have 4 games because South Africans are now playing the other teams. When they play each other, there's 4 teams, there's only 2 games, so it's given me a bit of a break. So I've been doing 2 or 3 games a weekend for the past few weeks as opposed to the 4 or 5 I normally do. So I got to take advantage of the moment I can catch my breath. I need to finish this article and get it submitted. And then I also need to start working on my taxes. I got a stack of paperwork over there that needs to be done. And also need to start planning my trip. If I do get, there's new requirements. Like if I were to go to the UK, now I have to have a approval to go to the UK. It's annoying. Just how, what jumped ahead of me? Just how bad what? Banking system seems to be stuck in a boom bust cycle. This appears to be possibly a feature, not a glitch. I don't see banking in a boom and bust. What do you mean? Banking system is governed by things outside the control. The banking system doesn't set the lending rate. The prime lending rate is set by the Federal Reserve. That affects banking. If the prime lending rate is increased, it makes it difficult to loan money. People don't want to pay higher interest rates. And what you get on deposits goes up and it costs the banks more money. So I'm not really sure I understand GrowX what the issue is. Banking industry is booming. There's a bigger problem with banking industry in America, and that's consolidation. We used to have 40,000 independent banks in this country in the 1980s. Today we have like 6,100 or something like that through consolidation. And now the consolidation has led to even more insidious situation in which banks simply close their branches. So I don't have my bank is in Texas. There's not a branch anywhere within 1,200 miles of me. Well, maybe not that far. There's some in Maryland, I think. So maybe about 200 miles is the closest one. But there's no bank around here. The closest one was in Lancaster. It used to take me 45 minutes to drive there to go to my bank. But they closed it. It's gone. And banks are closing physical branches, and physical branches are critically necessary for banking services. How can you have confidence and trust in a bank if you never see it? Well, having said that, I do have confidence in a bank. I had ING's Orange Bank, which is now part of Capital One. I did that, but I don't see the banking boom and bust. I don't see that. The banks are closely tied to the economy, so I'm not understanding your question. Suzanne says, we're good. I think I asked it wrong, but you did answer it. I wanted to know. All right, cool. Suzanne, sorry for what? Don't apologize. Don't apologize. Laura said it might take 2 years, but it all depends on what the White House release. We might just be patient at this stage. 2 years? No. It's not going to take 2 years for this to be announced. That's impossible. I mean, the whole purpose of giving you priorities because you got to get out of there. So it's not going to take 2 years. Trump is not going to wait around 2 years for this program. Missing your program is chasing criminals in my property. Oh, my goodness, Marky. I hope that it goes well. It's meant to be show. Huh? You only pack backpacks. Why don't you pack the whole house? Where's Erica? Is her phone melting? Could be. Suzanne Stan, no need to. Sorry, just buy the Colonel Starbucks. Nigel says, thank you for everything you do for this channel. You're very welcome, Faithful Farmer. Okay, if you were talking about bringing Electronics USA, you should know we have different voltage and different plug. South African Electronics won't work in the US. Unless they're multi-voltage. Most laptops are multi-voltage, but you're still going to need an adapter. South Africans have those crazy-ass plugs that don't make any sense. So you got to have adapters for these. I mean, these are like the size of freaking trucks, you know. Look at this huge ass adapter. Most of us have tiny adapters. So you can stick the US, the Australian in here, and the European ones can go in here, and you plug that into the wall. Big thing. One thing about it, though, it's hard to knock out of the wall, whereas ours are much easier to bend or knock out of the wall and bend the pins on. This thing is big, and it sticks right in the mains. So, yep. All right. You rock, Colonel. Thank you for all your patience. You're very welcome. I'll be back tomorrow, says Yana. Well, come watch me on Rugby Ascendant, folks. I need to call the Don, says Oosthuizen. Alan Gill, our ancestors stood on the 2nd, August 76, with the sign of the Declaration of Independence. Said, as of today, we stand as free men. Well, our Declaration of Independence was July 4th, Alan. What's August 2nd? Is that like your family or something in one of the states that did something? Billionaire. Who's Grimes calling out Elon Musk? Yeah, can you put your whole house in 2 check-in bags and a carry-on? Exactly. Do you sell honey? Actually, Meerkat, I don't produce honey. I am a beekeeper, but I don't have bees because I live in a residential area and I don't own land. I'm not wealthy. Land is expensive here. I mean, unbelievably expensive here. If I could buy some land nearby, I would buy it. However, I am in touch with a local beekeeper who was at a local farmer's fair event recently, and he agreed to let me help him with his bees. So I will keep current with my skills and use them practically in the springtime. I'm not interested in dealing with bees right now. It's cold as bees. It's cold as all get out outside right now. It is very cold. It is 30 degrees outside, so it's below freezing, about -1 or 2 Celsius. So I'm not interested in messing with bees right now. They're kind of quiet in wintertime. But come springtime, I will hook up with the bees. I've also worked with bees in Somerset West. Garrett knows that. He set that up. That was pretty cool. What do I think of Vim Petzer's latest video? Which is his latest video, Condebrun? You got to tell me. I mean, I don't know which one it is. And also, is it Afrikaans or is it English? Because the Afrikaan ones I don't tend to watch unless somebody makes a big deal about it. I'm back, no power. Sorry to hear that. Guys, no person needs to ask questions regards the refugee program. Simply view the videos. Yep. Okay. Line in the sand. Hey, take care. 2,100 subs to go. People, tell everyone you know. So Chris gets 50,000. Thank you, Jacques Kutsi. I appreciate that. Yeah, how we doing? I haven't looked subscribers since we started this broadcast. Oh, we're almost at 48,000 now. 47,916. So maybe we get to 48,000 here shortly. 548 people currently here. Arno, welcome to you. Jess, Arctic, they don't pay you enough to deal with this crazy bunch of us. We don't pay Arctic anything. What is the Colonel drinking? Wow, you can tell people are new to the program. This is Starbucks Frappuccino. It's a milk or coffee flavored caffeine and sugar drink. It's kind of like the ones you get, the frozen drinks at Starbucks, but not quite the same. Lost it there a bit with the government or the goat. Oh, okay, sorry. Laced iced coffee. Yeah, something like that. Okay, eat some. Oh, that's Afrikaans. I thought it said eat. It said it's eat home soon. Okay, I thought that was English for first. You just interrupted my cat's train of thought. She's looking for a goat. Everybody's looking for a goat, folks. You don't believe me? Honestly, everybody's looking for a goat. I mean, trust me. They are. You don't believe me? I'll tell you. It's true. It's true. Everybody's looking for a goat, like this kid.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
It's a fucking goat. No, it's a goat, baby. No, it's a fucking goat. Sorry. See you. Go. Hey, have a good night. Of course, it would be a Welshman. We're like reverse praying mantises. Sure, I think an intelligence test must be done to be accepted in the U.S. Not really. We let Trevor Noah in the country. We let Charlize Theron in the country. Clearly, an intelligence test for entry is not required. If I make it to USA, I will personally make you Biltong as thank you. Well, that's very kind of you, Jess. Thank you. Please come to Vanderbilt Park. I've been there, Joy. Last time I didn't go to Vanderbilt Park. Maybe I'll do it again. I go down to visit Danny van der Westhuizen and Monty Jackson down to that area. Okay. What's the worst country in Africa in your military and personal experience? Curious to hear. Well, I mean, honestly, it's hard to argue that the DRC is probably the worst country in all of Africa. Although countries as hell are making a bid for that. Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso really trying hard to surpass it. And Nigeria as well. Who wants some pumpkin fritters? Not my cup of tea. I don't think Trump changed his mind. Something is not making any sense. Who said Trump changed his mind? Pierre Rousseau, take care. People leaving here. It's past your bedtime? How old is my audience? Good Lord. 7:30 in South Africa. I want to come to America with my wife and kids as the racist laws make my job opportunities less and less, and we're struggling financially, says Andre. Huey's, there's fires in the Western Cape then. Yep. I feel the more I learn about things, the less I actually know about the world. Well, that's probably true. A lot of people think they know a lot about the world. They really don't. It's a big place. Lots of different people. Sorry, I'm scratching here. Is your consulting service still up? Yeah, it is. It is GrowX. I just don't push it. Usually I get people who reach me through LinkedIn who want me to do something, teach or speak or help them with a business plan. I make no effort to do anything with it. I just created it just, so that it was out there. So I didn't. When I retired, I didn't plan on going working for someone else. I don't like being tied down. Like I'm going to be, not next week, the week after, I'm at the war college and I have to be there all day. And I have to be there on their time and I have to respond to them. I don't like that. I spent my entire life doing that. So I like the flexibility. So if a consulting gig comes along, like I was asked a couple years ago during COVID to go to Ghana at the early stages of it to talk about counterterrorism with the police and the military there as part of a program with a friend of mine from London who is from West Africa but grew up in the UK. And so he sets these gigs up and I've done stuff with him before. He asked me to come to Ghana and I said, yeah, but we were having a hard time getting the visas and all this stuff. And so I wound up doing it remote. And so I took that because it was interesting. But I took it because I was going to go to Ghana. I wanted to go to Ghana and they were going to pay for my flight. So that would have been nice. But yeah, I just take them as they come. But I don't actively seek it, which means I don't get a lot. The problem right now is that everything is Russia. There's nothing Africa. So nobody's interested. I mean, I suppose I could start a consultancy and charge people for all this free advice I'm giving them. You imagine that? I mean, folks, I've been able to charge as much as $1,000 an hour for consultancy before. That's 19,000 Rand an hour. Now, that's only happened. I don't make that kind of money. I make a far lower sum than that. But I could charge that much and get away with it for big corporations. But it's a lot of work to put in place. Okay, yes, Mexican food is better than South African Mexican. Yes, that's true, Tom. I've had Mexican in South Africa. I've got the one that's a ripoff of Chipotle. If you go to the Santon City, they at the food court there, right on the corner, they've got a Mexican place. It's pretty good, actually, though. It's a ripoff. It's just like Chipotle, but very good spot there. It was interesting because I had all the stuff I bought, and I was standing there holding the bags are heavy, and I put them over by my table, and a security guard, I saw him. He kept an eye on my bags. A nice guy, black guy. He's watching them, and I'm watching them too because it's Santon City, it's Joburg, it's thieves. Anyway, so I'm watching my bags out of the corner of my eye, and I see him over there, and he's watching, and he looks over and he's looking around, and then he notices that I'm watching the bag. He looks at me like the ears. I'm like, yeah, and he goes, okay, and he watched my bags. He moved over close and made sure they were protected, so nobody walked off him. That's very nice of him. But before I come over and thank him, he'd left. So anyway, another pounder. Yeah, whoop whoop. That's awesome. Yeah, U.S. Mexican food is pretty awesome here. So pumping money into Angola for the rail line. Do you think there will be an economic boom? Well, Neptune, it's hard to say there's going to be an economic boom given the corruption in Angola. It still hasn't been rooted out. They've made significant progress by getting rid of Isabel dos Santos, and others. But as long as there's corruption, it really undermines the economy. It's a potential for a lot of boom, but we'll see if it happens. But the rail line's a good idea. I'm glad the U.S. invested in it. We enjoy the Colonel's chat. There's no reason to torture him with that disgusting. Are you going to get a tummy ache if you eat alone? Hey, Roxy, what are you laughing at? Autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect can be very annoying, especially in WhatsApp and Twitter. When are you coming to South Africa and where will you be visiting? Jacques could see it. Again, asked and answered, but it's not definitive. I can't come until the end of the first week of April, probably, and I will be going in April and part of May. I have to be back May 20th for the elections. I'm a judge of elections, so I have to be here for the elections to oversee the election on the 20th of May. And I have the War College at the beginning of April. So bookending April and May, I can travel in between. So I'll be going to the Western Cape, Gauteng, possibly the Northern Cape on this trip, Northwest. Yet to be determined whether it's going to be KZN or Eastern Cape, which I usually do. But I mean, it's getting dodgier and dodgier to go to Durban. It really is. But I suppose I could fly, drive down to the casino, stay there, which is okay, and then do a meet and greet with people. But I usually go up to Howick. I just hate that drive coming back because that road is just such a disaster coming back to Durban. It really is. You trim your beard yourself? Well, cool. I tried it with the barber a couple times, and I pay like $6 to get the beard trimmed, and she doesn't do a particularly great job. She doesn't do a bad job, but I do just as well. So I trim it myself. Yep, I got a pair of scissors, trim it up, and every so often I trim it, and I just keep getting shorter. But it's kind of settled in at this level, and people seem to like it. But power problems will soon be sorted by Iran and Russia. It only costs $320,400. Yes, independence was declared on the 4th, but the copy was signed the 2nd by the congressional delegates. Thank you, Alan. That's what I was asking. Appreciate it. Is it true that we would need affidavits of witnesses that are notarized in order to have proper evidence of persecution, discrimination, and for refugee asylum? I don't know where you got that from. No, that's not necessarily the case. Where are people in Darfur running from people raping and shooting getting affidavits from? There are a class of people who have been determined to be persecuted. Trump is saying there's a class of people who are persecuted. You don't have to prove you're persecuted, according to Trump. So, no, it doesn't. On the face of it, I'd say it's not true, but I don't know. The program hasn't been announced, but I would doubt that it's necessary. So, that's a subscription. I rang the bell for a subscription. I get distracted here. So, no, Cohen, I don't know that that's true. Chamber of Commerce proudly welcomes Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool to his new role. I don't welcome him. I don't welcome him at all. I don't welcome. The guy's rude, disrespectful, and he's insulted President Trump repeatedly, and he said horrible things about America. He's another cater, another apparatchik. No, I don't welcome him at all. What's with the tipping USA? Tips of 20-50% of the bill as norm? No. Who tips 50%? A lunatic tips 50%. Tipping is supposed to be a 10% sort of thing, 15% top end. It's an expectation because staff are paid a lower rate, so that's how they make. And it's supposed to be a reward for good service. You provide good service, you get a good tip. But a lot of Americans just got carried away with it, and so people expect tips. I don't do that. If it hurts people's feelings, too bad. I don't automatically tip. You give me poor service, you're not getting a tip. You give me average service, you'll get a tip, but it'll just be a small one. I like the German system where you can just round up to the next number. Say it's €23.20, you say 25 Stimmso, and so they keep the difference. I like that much better. It's supposed to improve performance, but people just expect it, and people get pissy if they don't get a big tip. Screw them. I already paid for the meal. I'm not here to pay you a tip unless you provide some outstanding service. Yep. Tip depends on service. What's supposed to, but people have distorted that. Okay. All right, so where are we at here? We forced that disgusting poopy. What's this? I grab a drink at the airport on my own, scan it myself, and stupid thing Auto load 18%. Oh, well, that's a scam too. That's not even legal. I don't know how they get away with that. They do that now for groups over a certain size. They can put an automatic gratuity on it. That's allowed. But this automatic tip stuff, that's bullshit. That's just theft. That's just theft. Gillets. Where is Gillets at? I don't know where that's at. I never heard of that before. In KZN. Let me look that up. Maps.google. Gillets. The hell did it say? Well, I did read it right. Gillets. Okay. Now the super chat that's from Nicklin 50 is the stricter E laws not a huge concern. No job security for certain groups of people. Link in my first super chat. You did a super chat earlier? Okay, I'll have to go back and see that. Gillets. Gillets, South Africa. Pinetown. Okay. That's down near Durban. Okay. I didn't know that. So I drive right by that. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That would make the trip back to Durban easier. You know, just stop there on the way back from Howick. Oh, thank you for that. So kind of you for that offer. Okay, so Nicklin, I got to go back to your first super chat because I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Earnings, super chats. Nicklin. Why is your super chat not showing up? Oh, I know what. This page is still the old one. I got to refresh it. I should have done. There's Nicklin. Okay, there we go. Nicklin, where's your first chat at? There's no link in your first chat. There's nothing there. It's blank. You're not allowed to put a link in, Nicklin. So what is EE? Equal. What is EE? I know what EO is, equal opportunity. What is EE? Is the stricter EE laws not a huge concern? No job security for certain people of people. What do you mean by no job security? I need you to explain that. You don't have to super chat again, Nicklin. Just explain what you're looking for there. I don't understand the question at all. Wow, what is that? Wow. Okay, the tipping, I already got to that. Then, if it's expensive to buy fresh produce, that's the reason I ask. I like to make my food from scratch. Oh, it can be. So, for instance, but it just depends. I mean, like, people buy a head of lettuce for a couple dollars, or they buy this little plastic thing where the lettuce has already been cut up and put in, leafy thing, and put in there. They charge like $5 for it because it's convenient. If you buy the head of lettuce, it's cheaper, but it can go bad if you don't eat it right away. So, it's up to you. I mean, you know, things are expensive because of Joe Biden. It wasn't like this 4 years ago. Sorry, did I hear you correct? You are a qualified apiarist. I am. Yes, Jacques, I am. I'm a beekeeper. Yep. I just don't have bees. Yep. To me, Emma's having a hard time with connection. Sorry about that. It's the cheapest if you shop around. Education is a lifelong thing as far as I'm concerned. You should always be striving to become better educated and learn more things. So I've attended university of one type of another my entire adult life. 1982, I went to university. Then for a year, then in the Army from 84 to 87, went to night school and weekends for universities. Then 87-9, I was an undergraduate. Then I was getting educated in the Army. And then I went back to school in 95 when I was teaching at Iowa State and worked on a master's program there on the housing subsidy program in South Africa. And then in between that, I did some correspondence education at the University of Wisconsin. And then I enrolled in Troy University for a master's degree, got a master's degree in international relations. Then I went to a master's degree program for strategic studies in the Army War College. And then I went to Michigan State. So virtually every decade, I've been enrolled at some university at some point in my entire adult life. Tips to ensure proper service. Exactly. That's it. Thank you. To ensure proper service. You hate that people feel entitled. I agree, Kioma. That's right. Yep. Karen says, I'm in Howick. The highway is a nightmare with truck accidents daily. Never mind the roadworks. We would love to see you here. My mother is glued to her TV watching 24/7. Well, thank you, Karen. I've been to Howick many times. John Tungay is a personal friend of mine. He's getting up there. John's almost 90 now. He's the founder of the Drakensberg Boys Choir. He was done wrong by his brother and by his parents, but he's the one that founded it. John Tungay. He also started the Drakendale School in Howick. He and his wife are lovely people, and I visit them. I try to every time I come to South Africa. They're lovely. I stay with them. Lovely people, and I really miss seeing them. They're good people. So Eric introduced me to John Tungay. It was interesting. Yeah, I like Howick, and what Chris Pappas is doing there, the DA is doing there is pretty good. At least the last time I was there, it was looking pretty good. Shopping around is always a must for anything to read. Yep. Employment equity. Okay, that's what that was. Employment equity. Is that in South Africa? We don't have employment equity in America. That's fine. So let me go back to her super chat now. She says, is the strict ELs not a huge concern? No job security, circus people. Oh, yeah, Nicklin, it's a huge concern for South Africa, but I'm not really understand your question. It's a huge concern. Okay. Executive order does not mention sanctions. No, it doesn't. Who said it did? What would provoke U.S. sanctions? Well, if they keep running their mouths. Today it was Mkunu. Oh, I suppose he means this farmer, this one who died. Trump, why are you bringing Trump into your crime statistics? He has nothing to do with it. Shut up. Yep. No, they keep pissing America off, yeah, and they keep acting against us. No, we're going to pursue this case. Keep it up. Yeah, it'll come. Would South Africa have to delete all its DEI laws? No, there's no. That's the thing. They're crying about U.S. intruding South Africa's interests. We're not. We're not declaring anything. Trump didn't ask for anything. He didn't demand anything. Do you like vulture bees? I'm not familiar with vulture bees. We'll see you in Hermanus. Well, Oscilla, if I make it there, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Thank you for the info, says Uven Bunse. I'm South African, Indian, wife, Albanian. Albania, wow. We farm on a plot. Many burglaries today had armed guys come into our plot. Would you be eligible? Uven, it's a good question. I don't know if you'll be eligible, but I suspect you will. We have to wait for the program. The problem is Trump said Afrikaners in an executive order who were racially discriminated against. The embassy later issued something updating it saying ethnic minorities. You would be an ethnic minority. 1.3 million people considered Indian in South Africa, and you're being racially discriminated against. If I were running the program, you would be here, but we have to wait and see. 14 Rand. But we got plenty of Indians here, man. Plenty of Indians in America. Jacques says, awesome, Chris, one of my passions. Cool. All the bees, yeah. Executive order does not mention sanctions. Okay. I already answered that too. Okay. I just jumped them again. Could I use a hive as a method to defense? Do you ever see the movie The Beekeeper? That's awesome with Jason Statham, The Beekeeper. I really enjoyed that. It was a bit of a surprise. Is RV life still a big thing in the U.S.? Yeah, it is. Although it took a hit during COVID, and it took a hit because the fuel prices went as $5, $6 a gallon because those things get poor mileage. But it's big. Back at last after chasing criminals again. Well, good to see you back. Sadly, they got away. I'm sorry to hear that. So they got the copper. Gee, many crickets. That's a crisis. They got to deal with that. You see the new video where the dry... No, I haven't seen that. Can I come back to Namibia for a business meeting if I'm a refugee? Ruben Haman, if you're from Namibia, you're not going to qualify. This program is not for Namibians. It's for South Africans. If you have business in Namibia and you're here in the States as a refugee, you should be able to go to Namibia. You won't be going to South Africa. So, I mean, you better hope you're not transiting Joburg. That's a bit of a problem for you. You might have to fly to Germany to fly to Namibia. That might be the problem. So, but you can't go to South Africa. You can't expect to go back to the country you're fleeing from because your life is in jeopardy. That doesn't make any sense. If Joel Pollack comes in as new ambassador, let me see, the program would be released. Well, yeah, it'll be before he comes back, most likely. I don't think it has anything to do with Joel Pollack. PH 14 Rand Super Chat. I missed that one. Thank you. Will Setswana people be considered ethnic minorities? They are to me. They are to me, and if they're being persecuted for that, then they should be allowed to come, but I don't think that's going to happen. Carrie-Ann Canofo just joined the WhatsApp group. How do you start this Asana process? How did you join the WhatsApp group? It's closed. How do you join the WhatsApp group? There's no seats at the end. Let me go look and see if I can get anybody in there. Hang on a second. I'm looking for the WhatsApp groups here. Oh, that's why. Okay. Refugee missions, members, pending request. Nope, can't put anybody in the first group because it's full. And there's the second one. Okay. Second one, 31 requests to join. I got one person in. That's it. There was one spot. So I don't know how you join because there's no spots. There is the Telegram group is open though. Thinking of Joel Paul. Okay, got that already. Rama defends Gangwana. No finance minister will just willy-nilly raise taxes. He said, must become more economically conscious, aware, and knowledgeable. Well, I think the South African government needs to be more cognizant of reality. The only thing Trump asked South Africa to do was not impinge on U.S. interests. Correct, Charles. That's correct. Yep. And didn't even ask. Just said that's why we're stopping the aid. Didn't ask them to stop. Was Carrie Ann saying something, refugee? I'm sorry, Carrie Ann, you said something. I didn't see the previous comment. So you're just saying something about sorry, refugee, so I missed the first part of that. If you would like, I can try and arrange a meeting with the club for retired veterans here in Cape Town. Loretta, yeah, that would be pretty cool, too, if you want. I do a lot of stuff. I go to Rondebosch, and I speak at the Reformation Society every time I'm there. I met with veterans from the ANC and from the old SADF in Nordcliffe. Not Nordcliffe. What the heck is the name of that? By Simonstown. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I met there last time with them. There's a link on a Facebook post. I don't know what Carrie Ann's talking about. Can somebody tell me what she's talking about? Because I can't see her previous comment. I'm just seeing her comments now. Greetings. Back in South Africa. Been touring. Realized I ain't human anymore. So I'm proud Neanderthal. The race laws in South Africa do not oppress black people from any tribe and therefore will not be eligible for refugee status. You don't know that, Carnoza. You don't know that. You don't know that. These people may not qualify based on the category of people, but they might be able to prove a case of being racially discriminated against. Absolutely. So you're making a statement that's not one in fact. You're making an assumption. It may be valid, but you don't know that. Oh, I'm not familiar with that, Salty. I don't know. If you come through Northern Cape before I'm in the U.S., I would like to see you. I don't drink Black Label. I don't like Carling, and I don't drink Castle Light. I only drink real beer, and the only real beer available in South Africa that's not from microbrewery is Windhoek Lager. So I will drink microbrewery stuff, but not when I'm driving. You have to be in South Africa. South African ID passport. If it's South African in another country, you won't get in the refugee program. Correct, because you're not fleeing persecution. You're somewhere safe. All right, take care of your mom, Neville. We're going to wrap up anyway. It's almost 2 hours here. All right, lots of super chats came in. A lot of small ones, but a lot of chats. A couple big ones. Thank you for that. 625 likes, 451 people currently here. Was stung by a bee. Oof, that sucks. And what is this coming in now? Moletsi Mbeki has stated the South African cabinet is the most expensive. It is. Well, they need to just have it. You know, Rob Hersoff hit on the head. They just get rid of half of those ministries. They don't need those. We need the same thing in America. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, gone. Education, gone. Commerce, frankly, gone. You can do that through the Treasury Department, all that stuff. So we need to get rid of a lot of stuff. Don't think Chris Zalls. I don't. And I didn't do a poll here today, but maybe we'll do one over the weekend. All right, tomorrow I've got Vainant Boshoff will be on the program from the Freedom Front Plus. We're going to talk about that equitable land proposal that's coming to implement the new law, and where it's based on race, the land distribution. They're going to take land from people and hand out to people based on their race. That'll be a complete destruction of South Africa. There's no question about that. But he'll be on tomorrow to talk about it. He's more knowledgeable than I am. Windhoek provides, okay. Hope you have a good night. No, okay, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks. I'm going to take a break, maybe a nap, because I got up this morning and Willem Petro didn't have power, so we didn't do that broadcast. Well, it was lekker, Yaku. Thank you. I agree. Why have I got a double post? I have no idea. Have an awesome night. I work for an international company, and we have a lot of offices in the U.S. Will that have a bearing on where I can settle if I come over? Con de Bruin. It could. I don't know the answer on that. You can ask, because you can always ask. You say, look, I want to go here because I have an offer of employment. That might facilitate it. If you already work with a company there, that's an unusual situation. Almost no refugees have employment in the States. There's no remote refugees from Darfur or from South Sudan or from Myanmar or China who are working working with U.S. companies. So it might. This is a very unusual circumstance. We didn't have any remote people from Bosnia and Herzegovina or Cuba working for American companies either. So those are the one in-country refugee programs, which is what this is going to be. So you're not normally a refugee in the country you're in. That legal term is normally applied to someone who leaves a country and goes to a safe haven, a refugee. If you're inside a country and you're forced to flee where you're at, those are called IDPs, internally displaced persons. In this case, you're not an IDP because you're not displaced, and they're giving you refugee status. It's a very unusual situation, but not impossible. So that's something to understand, folks. All right, please watch my videos if you don't mind. I probably won't take the nap. I'll probably make a video. All righty. I'm going to play the video to wrap it up here. You guys have a good one. Tomorrow I'll be on, but also you can catch me on Rugby Ascendant for the Bulls game, and then later the Scotland-Ireland game. So check it out. Here's Colonel Wyatt's Anthem. This is an AI song generated by one of my viewers, and I put the pictures to it.
Colonel Wyatt hits the screen, got stories bold and keen. Old soldier, sharp and mean, tells truths they've never seen. Rugby lover with a roar, Africa flowing in his core. YouTube rants they can't ignore, his passion makes his heart soar. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Military mind, keen and wise, truths come out, no disguise. South African skies, in his eyes, hear his voice, no surprise. Retired soldier with the fight, in the dark he brings the light. Angry rants, truths ignite, join the cause, join the ride. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Enemies knocked on his door, trolls attack, but he's more with each click. Watch him soar on the truth waves, he explodes. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Right now, don't miss the brawl.
Thank you.